This week on the Steam Machine podcast, I want to be your house flipper. Dun, dun. Let me flip your house. Cue the music. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Machine podcast. My name is Dalton. Joining me are my good buddies from Team Retrogue.
I don't want to be on this show anymore.
And one half of the Destructo Bros.
Hey, it's Willie. How you doing?
Hey! So, boys, right off the bat, it is the day after Thanksgiving that we are recording this. And
oh, buddy.
I am full of food. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, so yesterday, all of us came in pretty low energy after Thanksgiving dinner. I don't know exactly what happened with you guys, but we kind of had a boys moment out in the, my dad's garage. The same garage I actually mentioned earlier. We were talking about building in the Patreon section. And had like 2 shots of bullet bourbon. And for some reason, that combined with the Thanksgiving dinner just put me straight to sleep.
Oh, see, for me, it was Wild Turkey and Coke, and I was on my, 4th one.
I didn't drink yesterday, but I ate a copious amount of food that I had made and was very, very full. Still, though, tried to lay down for a nap. So I'm one of those people. I don't know if you guys are. So I laid down. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a nap. I'll wake up and I'll be ready for recording. And I set my alarm for an hour and a half.
Then you got alarm anxiety?
I lay there for a fucking hour and a half just waiting for the alarm to go off.
Yeah.
If I feel like if my alarm, if it's 4 or more hours, I don't worry about it.
No.
But if it's an hour and a half that I'm trying to get a nap in, I'm never going to actually fall asleep. Or if I do, it'll be in that last 10 minutes. And it kills.
Just long enough for you to be super disoriented when you wake up.
Yeah, exactly. So I laid there and I never fell asleep, and I woke up and we all decided, I went and told my dad about this and he laughed, right? So the way this went on my end was I said, we could put it off tomorrow if you boys want. And Willie was like, yeah, I'm not opposed to that, And I said, yeah, what about you, Mikahilov? Mikahilov's like, I'm cool with that. Not a minute later, there's a message comes in from Willie's phone, his Discord account on his phone. He goes, in that case, I'm already in bed. Good night, boys.
Yeah.
It's
now, I had already tried 3 or 4 hours of napping. That was after the bourbon and before what would have been recording time. And I was still no, I'm ready for bed. Because now the food has kicked in and now I'm gone.
Yeah. I unfortunately was awake.
And I tried to keep myself up on on my TV. I had Mystery Science Theater, Turkey Day stuff going on, watching that, trying to watch it, but I would be watching it and be oh,
yeah.
Just absolutely dead.
Yeah, and I had gone to bed very shortly after Willie's message, and my wife was putting Kyle to bed, and she comes in after he finally falls asleep, and she's like, I thought you were recording tonight. I'm like, we're all tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I ended up being awake till 10 a.m. this morning.
Oh.
Which
wait, you stayed
really
up all
sucked.
All
All night.
Oh my god, dude.
He's been kind of having some weird sleep
you've
schedule.
been having
I've
some
noticed
sleep
because
issues,
I've been hitting him on the I've been hitting him on the other side of it where I'll wake up way too early and talk to him for a bit, and I think he's still up from the night before.
Yeah, lately
it's been shit.
Lately my alarm has been going off for me to get up to start shower and get ready for work, and you guys are already chatting it up in the group chat.
Yeah, man. So my body's weird. It goes through cycles almost, where it's I do not have a sleep schedule. I have a sleep cycle.
Right, exactly.
I'll be awake all night for a while, and then one day I'll just get really tired and go to sleep at night, and then I wake up at 7 in the morning, and then I'm up in the morning for a while, and then it slowly goes where I'm waking up later and later and later, and then I'm awake all night, and the process repeats itself.
And it just so happens that currently I'm on one where I had had something to do that I couldn't sleep well for the night before, and so I went to sleep afterwards, and then been waking up at 2 in the morning, then 3 in the morning, and I finally got it to more 5, so it's getting closer to normal-ish times.
Yeah, from my perspective, I just run on fumes half the time.
Well, yeah, between being a teacher and having a kid, I bet you do.
And once I'm done being a teacher and a dad, then I have a YouTube channel to maintain, so a lot of my testing and filming and all that stuff, it's all done after 9.
Well, at least when you're on here, you just have to bullshit and then send me the audio.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Pretty
you do have
much.
to play a game too, but oh no, that's terrible. Who wants to do that?
Oh my god, playing video games. What is this video game you speak of? Is it a game that's on a video? I don't get it.
Well, speaking of video, well, actually, before we move on, listeners, the reason I brought up Thanksgiving is I am very thankful for you all. For tuning in and listening to all of these episodes, our shenanigans that we put on. Like coming up this June, I will have been doing this show for 5 years, and that is just mind-boggling to me personally. It's a half of a fucking decade of my life. So thank you very much for listening and tuning in. Buying shirts, which only a few of you have done, but either way, I appreciate you for it because it's like, or when I see people just like talking about the show, it's like, man, that's cool that people enjoy the things that we do. So hopefully we keep doing things that you enjoy, and we are thankful for you. From the Steam Machine Podcast, we give thanks. So, boys, speaking of video games, what have y'all been up to? Willie, let's start with you, bud, because I know you've been playing some Doom.
Yeah, so I started a new channel in the Discord to kind of document this. But so there's a thread in the Doom World forums. I was going to say I thought I discussed this before, but it was 2021 that I first tried to do this. So it might have been before I was on the show regularly. But there's a thread in there called the WOD skill progression or something like that. And it's basically just a list of all these Doom episodes. If you play in this order, it like gets you better at the game over time. You play with like pistol start, ultraviolence skill level. And so I'm still on the very beginning of it, which is just play through Doom 1. So I'm still playing on like fast monsters and ultraviolence and pistol start, because it's like you do need that little extra challenge. And man, I do love fast monsters just because it makes Pinky Demons and Spectres so much more dangerous than they ever are normally. Like, they just swarm you. They run 3 times as fast as they normally do, and it makes them into an incredible challenge.
Yeah, Doom normal already kicks my ass enough, so I can imagine.
I mean, maybe you underestimate yourself. Try upping the skill level and see what happens to you, Because it seemed like when I was watching you and Nathan play, usually it wasn't the combat that was stymieing you. It was trying to figure out the level progression itself.
Yeah, like, wow, fuck, where do I go? Let me press every wall that I see.
And it's not like Where Do I Go gets any harder on harder difficulties. It's just like the actual combat gets, interesting.
See, the stuff that I usually end up playing Doom on is like a smaller screen, or like it's not an actual computer screen, so like the pixels just get kind of more convoluted the smaller the screen gets, so I just end up like stuck.
Yeah, I tried to play it on the PAL Kitty, the installed PR Boom, and I just can't really wrap my head around strafing with the shoulder buttons. And
yeah,
I'm very mouse and keyboard now, which is funny because I'm so much more. When I was a kid, I always played it keyboard only. So
I know that feeling that you have with that, because when I play Session or Skater XL, you control the skateboard with both of your sticks with your feet. You can turn some with the left stick. You can lean, you know what I mean? But to actually turn in air, you have to hold either the triggers or the bumpers in,
Yeah, but that sounds more precise, whereas you lose precision going from mouse and keyboard to a controller setup for a first person.
No. I'm saying, but you're just saying you can't wrap your head around strafing with those. It's been very hard for me going from skate, where I can steer with this one and control the stick with this one, or control the skateboard with this one, to I have to steer with the triggers. So it's like, instead of strafing with the triggers, I'm having to turn with them. And it's hard to get used to when you're so used to just doing it the other, like a different way.
I see what you mean, but it's not even like just having trouble strafing. It's more along the lines of I'm not used to not being able to control how quick I whip my head around, for instance, and having to wait for Doom Guy to turn around just feels extremely bad to me.
Dude, what if someone, now hear me out, what if someone recreated the original Doom, but made it survival horror and did it in the style of those old Resident Evil games where it's like the up camera, but you're Doom Guy walking through having to shoot demons and stuff, and obviously you'd have to slow things down and things like that, but to take that experience, they'd be like, this is what Doom 3 should have been. And like, I don't know.
I mean, I've definitely seen someone use like the Resident Evil style fixed camera that you move room to room in a GZ Doom mod before, so it is absolutely possible. I just don't know what you would have to do to make a full game that adapts the Doom levels, but it's an interesting idea.
Oh, I mean, I would be happy with just someone doing that with E1, M1, just as a concept, and I just want to play through it.
Proof of concept, yeah. Aside from that, I've been playing a lot of chess again lately, and I'm delighted to report that chess.com has made their first ever robot based on a baseball player, because they have a little, bots that talk to you, and a lot of them are based on like streamer celebrities and famous chess players and all that. And they actually made one based on a baseball player, and it's my favorite baseball player of all time, Joey Votto.
Oh,
and so
I thought it was going to be Rick Boogs.
I got
Not Rick Boogs, Rick Boggs.
Boogs is a wrestler.
Yeah, my bad.
But yeah, wasn't he like the guitar guy? He was the guitar guy, right? But yeah, so they got a Joey Votto bot, and I played it a couple times. It really crushed me both times, so I got to get better. But apparently, Joey actually told them all the trash talk he wanted it to say and stuff, which makes sense because it says some really weird stuff that I guarantee no one at chess.com would have written.
Laces out, Dan.
Well, because I've seen the ones, the trash talk for the bots that are based on, chess streamers, and then they play it and they're like, why does my guy suck so bad at shit talk? This is nothing close to what I would say.
Well, that's cool, dude. I always like when games that you enjoy add new things to enjoy as a single player, because it's always feel like games are always getting multiplayer updates and things like that. But it's always nice when the single players get some things. Yeah.
And especially chess being a 2-player game by nature. It's nice when people make more single player stuff for chess.
Yeah, especially when you give you bots, things like that to play with. It's like when I would load up old shooting games, and it's like, what do you mean I can't play with bots? I mean, what game was it that we were trying to play with bots and us versus bots, and it wouldn't allow it? Was it Unreal Tournament?
I want to say we tried to do it in Quake 1.
That might have been it.
And I think Quake 1 and Dusk both only had deathmatch or similar modes, but they didn't have bot modes.
Halo. It was Halo, one of the Halo
Halo
games that we tried to do, and I was like, "Can we do bots?"
Yeah,
because we wanted to do the almost said Warsong Gulch. That's from World of Warcraft, but the Gulch level.
Blood Gulch.
Yeah,
we wanted to do Blood Gulch. It wouldn't let us do it.
Yeah, boo, Wendy Testaburger, boo. But yeah,
and then aside from that, I've also been playing a lot more retro achievements, going into RetroArch and just playing games. Nate's been kind of got into it lately, and that got me back into it. So I was playing Galaga and Balloon Fight a lot lately.
Galaga's a good time.
All right, I can dig some Galaga. I don't know if I've ever played Balloon Fight.
Balloon Fight is kind of...
It's like Joust, but not really.
Yeah, it's Mom says we have Joust at home.
That is the best way to describe that.
It's pretty good. I mean, I used to think it was way worse than Joust, but the more I've played it, the more I kind of appreciate the differences. But if you think of Joust, you're 80% of the way there all the way.
Okay. I've never played Joust, but I have seen people play Joust. A buddy of mine and his brother really loved that game from their childhood, so I would be over there, and his brother would come by and he'd be like, "Let's play a couple rounds of Joust," and they would play on the emulator.
If you're familiar with the basic gameplay where you flap to move in the air and you want to be above your opponent when you hit them, that's basically the same mechanic there.
So last Christmas, my wife bought me...
Gave you my heart. The very next day, you gave it away.
Hi, my name is Mikahilov. I am the Steam Machine Whipping Boy. I am the person who gets beat on by Willie and Dalton. Just don't mind me. I have the patience of a high school teacher, and I love them both. I love them so dearly. Very, very dearly, that if I ever meet them in person, I'm going to punch both of them in the arm. And it's not going to hurt, because I'm weak as fuck.
I will punch back.
It'll be a playful punch. That's all. Don't worry about it. Get a plane ticket down to Florida, knock on your door, punch you, then just come back to Connecticut.
He used all of his energy knocking the door. He punched the door too hard. Got gassed.
Are you Jay and Silent Bob Sucks Balls 93?
How many people want to kick some ass?
I do. It's such a funny fucking way to end that movie.
So because you decided to be a douchebag, I'm not telling you my story.
Okay. Tell your story, fuck nugget.
All I was going to say is I got a tabletop arcade thing for Christmas last year, and it's got Joust on it, and my son actually really likes Joust and Tubin.
Tubin, that's a bit of an out there pick, yeah.
He loves it because it's really hard to lose. He just kind of floats around, and that's about it.
He tubes.
He tubes.
He be tubing.
He's tubing.
He tubes. He gets fascinated by the fact that the guy's wearing red shorts. The guy's wearing red shorts. Hey, Daddy, the guy's wearing red shorts. Yes, honey.
It's funny that
the guy's wearing red shorts. Yes.
They made 4 of those.
I get that too, because when I was playing Balloon Fight, I was definitely every time I'm down to my last balloon, I'm like, only got one balloon. Hope I do not fucking die.
They made 3 sequels to Tubin in Japan that never came over here, but then when they brought it over here, they actually put the 5 in the front and they called it V-Tubin, and I don't know why, but that's become really popular.
Huh. Yeah.
I didn't know where you were going with it, but I knew it was going to suck.
I mean,
my head was in my hands before it even got there.
Do people who play that game and get good at it, are they VTube stars?
I guess they are. I guess you could call them VTubers.
Yeah.
See, I would like to take the V and then like kind of bend the end of it. So instead of a V, it's more like a U. I'm going to be like a YouTuber.
YouTuber? Who does that?
I don't know, like a flock of seagulls and a gas shortage. That's about it.
Yeah. So what about you, Dalton?
So, me?
Yeah, you go next.
I have I've been playing some World of Warcraft. Not proud of it, but I have.
You've been playing a lot of these old RPGs lately, between Final Fantasy XI and now World of Warcraft Classic.
Ragnarok Online, dude. Ragnarok Online. Really, Dalton? Explain yourself, sir.
So I've just been fiending for...
Busted.
I've been fiending for some old MMO content, right? And it's funny because I subbed to WoW and I installed Cataclysm Classic and I installed just WoW Classic and I uninstalled Retail.
Wow.
So I don't even have regular WoW on my computer. I just have old WoW on my computer. And I've been really enjoying that, but I'm also out of work right now. So I've been shopping around other MMOs that are free to play to see how they are. You know, just when my WoW account runs out and if I don't have money to re-up it, then I'll have something else to dive into now and then when I just want mindless grinding. So there's a few that I've been playing that I enjoy that I probably will keep playing after I'm done with World of Warcraft. Onigiri being one of them.
Okay.
It's very different. It's very Japanese. It's very Japanese, but it's a great game. It is not very optimized. It is like early PlayStation 3 graphics at best, but I love it. I dabbled in a little bit of Lord of the Rings Online.
Okay.
That seems like a lot of fun. I have played it before, but I figured I'd start a character over. So I started me up I think like a guardian or something like that. I don't know. It's a sword and board character because I figured let me go high defense while I'm learning the game, so I'm not just like dying all the time trying to be Gandalf or something.
Gotcha.
I installed Neverwinter, but I haven't really checked into that. I played that back in the day on PS4 and wasn't super impressed with it, but it's probably better on PC. And then, as you said, I have made a character in Ragnarok Online because that is a game I've always wanted to get into because I am absolutely in love with the way it looks. I love the aesthetic of that game. And I know that you played that game for years and years and years. So if I ever have a question, I will come to you about it. But
I didn't even know that game went free to play.
Yeah, it's free to play. I'm sure people bitch about it being pay to win. I'm sure it's got some sort of pay to win element because it's a free to play game. I just ignore those.
Yeah.
If people want to be better than me and pay to be better than me, then good for them. Like that's not what I'm in an MMO for. You know, I'm not in it to be top of the leaderboards. I'm in it to just have fun and maybe meet some cool people.
Yeah, that's me with Final Fantasy 14. Like, I'm not doing Savage Raids anytime soon or ever. I'm just in it for the story content and just to do some cool stuff.
Yeah. And speaking of World of Warcraft, they started some fresh anniversary servers that when me and Dave went to go make some characters on there to play, they were already full.
Holy crap.
We were like, holy shit, right? So it was like, there might be a wait time because everybody wanted in on the new Classic server because the Classic server had moved on to Wrath of the Lich King. Now it's in the Cataclysm.
Yeah.
So they've brought in new anniversary servers for Classic with some like quality of life stuff that I don't really know what's going on with it.
So are we talking about like Classic just vanilla?
Yeah. Making your way to Burning Crusade.
Okay. Wow.
I don't mists of Pandaria.
Ain't got Cataclysm. If I had a wrath, I bet it'd be from Lich King Arthas. Yeah. But it's very interesting going back to original World of Warcraft. Because I am so used to World of Warcraft. I run into a group of enemies as my paladin or my warrior or whatever. I pull them, I kill them all, and I move on to the next group of enemies. WoW Classic, I can go pull one enemy, and that motherfucker might kill me.
Yeah.
And it is like, oh, okay, so this is like Final Fantasy XI levels of old school. I can dig this. I got some names, though, that I didn't think I'd be able to get because it was an early server. So my mage is named Konosuba.
Okay.
My orc is named Orcrines.
I like that.
Orc Rhines. That's good. That took me a minute.
I made a human paladin over on the Alliance side. I named him Paladin Dance.
Okay.
Who was a character from Fallout 4.
Gotcha.
I did try to make a hunter named X Hunter, and it was taken. Willie gave me that
That was
idea.
my idea, and I'm sad. Sad it
There
didn't
was
work out for you.
another name that you posted in the, I think it was in the group chat, that cracked me the heck up, and I just forgot what it was. I think it was I think it was your undead or your troll. It was either an undead or a troll.
I know I have a shaman Doran named John Travolta
Wasn't that one?
because he's an elemental shaman, lightning shaman.
I thought I could have sworn it was like a.
Oh, was it the like Buck Fickens or something like that? Fut Buckins?
I think that was it. I think it was Fut Buckets.
So that was not my character, but I did immediately go to the PvP server that me and Dave talked about making a character on and made Fut Buckins, and he is going to make Fitty Tuckins.
Oh dear lord!
And that is going to be our that's going to be our PvP duo.
Oh dear lord!
It's funny. I was having this conversation with him. I'm like, in any MMO, I always try to think, okay, what style of name would I use in this game world? And I try to come up with a name for it.
It was Fut Buckins, by the way. I just scrolled up.
World of Warcraft has always been, let me come up with the funniest fucking name that I can. I don't know why. It's like I just don't take naming seriously unless I'm going to play on an RP server, which I have never done.
Yeah.
But that would be cool, though. I think I would play on an RP server, as long as not everyone tried to have sex with me.
I mean,
but yeah, so other than that,
promises.
I started up a new Oblivion save. I found a good mod pack on Wabbajack that I wanted to check out called A Painted World. So I've really been enjoying. I sent some screenshots of that earlier.
Yeah, it's beautiful looking.
Yeah, it's definitely looks better than OG, but Oblivion. Although OG Oblivion to me still holds up, even with the potato heads. I still love it. I just like my quality of life stuff.
Yeah, no, I hear you on
I
that.
do think that no matter how many graphical updates that they add, they should always make sure the adoring fan looks exactly the same as he did in the original.
Oh yeah, he always
is the perfect potato.
Ridiculous. Hello, can I carry your bags? I'm your biggest fan.
Hey,
If you ever need someone to worship the ground you walk on.
I eventually got sick of the adoring fan in Starfield, and I left him on a ship that I wasn't using, and I just piloted a different ship.
I thought that was a cool nod, though, that you could get the adoring fan in Starfield.
Yeah, I do enjoy him. I was like, dude, you're going to be part of my crew. I just brought him on. And yeah, he pretty much just worshipped the ground I walked on until I, stopped talking to him.
Yeah, there's all kinds of videos online of people that, just, using magic to throw him off a fucking hill.
Yeah.
Off a cliff, and then he comes back, because I think he is unkillable.
Oh, no.
The most essential NPC of all, the adoring fan.
In fact, my new character that I made is a wood elf, and I was in the Imperial City, and I was like, what do I want to do first? Do I want to do the Fighters Guild, or do I want to go just knock out the arena? Because that's almost always what I do first. The first thing I do is I go and I knock out the arena and get that done. So then you can go through the rest of the game. You at least have a little bit of recognition. People know you as the king of the arena. But I didn't, because I was like, I do not feel like dealing with the adoring fan yet. So I went to Anvil. And went to Anvil and joined the Fighters Guild. So the mod pack that I'm using, though, what it adds that I find interesting is, like in the original Oblivion, as soon as you start the game, you can open up the map, and all of the maps have, where the cities are at, and you can just click on it and fast travel there immediately, right? This one does not unlock map things until you go to that place. So you actually have to explore to find places to be able to fast travel to. But they added something in Oblivion in this mod pack that isn't in the original Oblivion, but is in Skyrim, and that is travel from stable to stable.
Oh, okay.
So you can go out.
So the little cart.
Yeah, like a little cart guy. But there's a cart there, but you don't actually get on it because it's not like Skyrim in that depth. But you go up and you talk to the NPC, and he's like, "Where do you want to go?" And you tell him, and he's like, "All right, let's go." He's like, I asked him to go to Anvil. He goes, the Gold Road. I love that area. It's like super cool. And there's like a lot of things where you can ask, like they add in stuff that you can ask people that is fully voiced acted by the actual voice, because I'm sure it's AI doing it or some sort of back end thing. But it's very cool. A lot of immersion stuff that I just really appreciate.
Man, you're making me want to play Oblivion now.
The mod pack was a bit of a pain in the ass to get to work for some reason. But once I finally got it working, it was a chef's kiss.
Good for somebody who still needs to beat Morrowind.
I mean, I think you've played enough of Morrowind that you could move on. It's just like, if I ever, which believe me is going to happen, if I ever bring up Oblivion for the show, I don't expect you guys to beat it unless you want to go through and do that storyline. It's like, just go have an experience in Oblivion, and then in 2 weeks we can talk about our experiences, because we could play that game and see vastly different things.
Yeah. That's a lot of the games that we played for the show, too. Like, when we played Amalur, we all had different experiences.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the things that adds to those types of episodes, because it really showcases how differently you can play these games, how much that there is to them. Like, if we did Baldur's Gate 3, I guarantee all of us would probably do some things the same, but there would be whole sections of the game where it would be like, oh man, I walked right past that. I didn't talk to that NPC that led you down this 6 epic quests thing. You know, it's wild.
I'd love to
branching
actually
narrative is great.
Start Baldur's Gate 3. I've had it since release and never even launched it.
That might be one that we could do for the show, but I feel like we would all have to agree on it and maybe do like 2 or 3 short games.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
Yeah.
And then do it the end of the month, like this is Baldur's 3 month or whatever.
Yeah, something. But even
something
if we
like
don't do it for the show, like, I still want to play it.
Oh no, absolutely, you should.
I need to get my ass off of Final Fantasy 14 and actually play some real games.
So that is also one of the reasons I started Oblivion, is to see if I can just get the MMO needle out of my arm before it goes fully in. You know, if I get more invested in my Oblivion character than I am in going in and leveling WoW, then I might just hop on WoW whenever Dave wants to play or something like that, you know, and that's a bit different.
So, I have a friend who actually got a private server up and running that runs through Lich King, and he has it pre-populated with, like, bots. So it looks like there's people in the world, and you could talk to them and all that, and you could run dungeons with them, but it's almost entirely a single-player experience.
Oh man, you should send me that.
And then I have to figure out what it is. It only goes up to Lich King, because I think after Lich King they, like, patch some stuff, so, like, you can't do that. But,
Well, that's fine. Well, and Cataclysm, like the core theory of Cataclysm when that expansion dropped is that there were major things, like a cataclysm happened. It's kind of like when 14 did the Realm Reborn thing.
Yeah.
Cataclysm changed a lot of areas. Like there is an area that you could go and level in Classic and Burning Crusade, that in Cataclysm, that whole area is now full of water. You cannot access it anymore.
Yeah, no, that's when I dropped off of the game. I went into it during Burning Crusade. I played it hardcore during Lich King, and then when Cataclysm hit, I just dropped off of it. I didn't like it.
Oh, I loved Cataclysm personally, and I loved the one after that, even though it nerfed everything that I loved about Cataclysm, Mist of Pandaria, because that's my favorite area. Mist of Pandaria is the prettiest shit that they've done, in my opinion. But the ones after that, they just lost me.
Yeah, I have a lot of issues with World of Warcraft retail, because I went back for Legion, and it was not a great expansion.
It was better than Warlords of Draenor, but yeah, Legion wasn't great.
It was.
I did like Demon Hunter.
The only thing I liked about Legion is that you had one weapon, and you upgraded that weapon. Like, for some reason, I just enjoyed that. I don't know why I enjoyed that, but I enjoyed it. And then I think in the next expansion, you have to, like, sacrifice that weapon to, like, move on with the story. But, I don't know, like, retail WoW just... I can't get into it anymore because there's no way to follow the lore like you can in Final Fantasy XIV. Where in Final Fantasy XIV, you're leveling up by going through the story and going through all the different expansions. They force that on you. And so you don't miss anything.
So,
Warcraft,
fun fact
you
about
miss
that.
so much. You miss so much lore because you either have to, like, go back and go through all the worlds and everything by yourself, or you just level in the new place and you don't get any of it.
The video I posted in MMO chat, it was the new Patrician TV video, which is a brief retrospective of World of Warcraft Classic. It's a 6-hour video, right?
Brief.
Yeah, well, he also called his Morrowind review brief, and it was like 10 hours, and his Oblivion one was like 20 hours. It's just a joke, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
He touched on that, where he said World of Warcraft, in its origin, he said nowadays you can play World of Warcraft retail, and it's like the designers are just looking at the World of Warcraft wiki and going off of that. Whereas back in the day, it was more crafted, but as they started going into more expansions, they started shying away from that, where he was talking about, whereas in Final Fantasy XIV, they make you go through the main story quest, and people are actively like, oh, you're at this part in the story. Hell yeah, I can't wait till you get to this and see this. Just wait, it's going to get better. And World of Warcraft, everybody's like, dude, just skip through that shit and get the raid content.
And that's
like,
why
it's very
I can't
much
play it anymore.
less focused. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I want the lore. I want the story. I don't want to just go do mythics and raids. Like, why am I going through this dungeon if there's no, like, story behind it?
Yeah, and it was very interesting to watch that video and learn a lot of lore that I did not know about the OG areas in World of Warcraft and why they existed. And it's stuff that you can find in the OG game that's just very hard to find now, especially since some of those areas are completely different after Cataclysm.
Right. And I think they're even more different in retail because I think like capital cities get burned to the ground at some point. Like Alliance takes over the Undercity at one point, the Horde takes over Darnassus and it just burns it to the ground. Like there's just a lot of stuff you just don't get.
Yeah. It's wild.
I mean, but you also have to consider that game has been around for what, 20, 30 years?
25, I think, Stan. 20th or 25. They're on one of the two.
Yeah.
I think it's 2004. So, yeah, 20 years.
Yeah, so just the fact that there's still an active player base on a 20-something-year-old game is mind-blowing enough.
I mean, think about Final Fantasy XI came out a couple years before WoW.
Yeah.
And it's still running.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as popular as World of Warcraft, but I mean, it's still got players that play it, which is, more to say than some games on Steam where you can log in, you're the only fucking player on.
This is true.
Yeah. Other than that, man, I don't think I've been up to much else. I'm sure I have, and I don't remember. Oh, I got a nifty little handheld coming in that's supposed to be coming tomorrow.
Oh, you haven't got it yet?
Mikahilov sent me. No, I checked the thing. It said it should be here Saturday, so.
Okay. It's one of the holidays. Probably delayed the shipping.
That's what I figured. And I mean, that's all good. I think once I get that and I get it figured out and, all my games on it that you haven't already put on, I don't know what you got on there. I'm going to be interested to look through it. But I think the one that I have that you had already sent me, I'm going to let my dad use. Because every time I go out in the living room, he's laying on the couch on his phone playing some little puzzle game. And I'm like, dude, I should let him use that show him how to use that little handheld so he can like lay there and play, an actual good game instead of just playing little fucking phone puzzle games. And I mean literally a puzzle where he's taking the little pieces and putting it together like making a puzzle.
Yeah, fire up Tetris on it.
Yeah, dude, I'll give him like, here's Tetris, dude. So I said, when I brought this idea up to him, he goes, I do like the original Mario game. And I said, excuse me, what did you just say? I said, Mario? I was like, that he canonically says, it's-a me, Mario. He doesn't go, it's-a me, Mario.
Hey, it's me, Mario.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? It's me, Mario. I'm here to plumb your toilet. But I was like, what was it? I was like, oh yeah, and you know who was in Clerks? Rosario Dawson.
Oh.
And he was just like, fuck you, you know where I'm from. I'm like, yeah, you're from Jersey. Where it should be, oh, Mario. You got the Italians up there. It's Mario, not Mario. Get out of here. So yeah, I think I'm going to give that to him. And because I know he'll have fun with that. He's the one when I was growing up that had the NES and the Master System. So that's why I still have those systems.
Nice.
Although I wish I had the Master System that had Sonic 1 on it when you just turn it on and play it. I have the one that has Hang On.
Oh.
Which is still fun. Still fun, but not worth nearly as much. So what about you, Mikahilov? What you been up to?
I've been up to quite a bit, actually. Last Friday was a very memorable day because I officially adopted my son.
Yeah, and the crowd goes
congrats,
wild.
man.
Yeah, that was surreal. I still don't believe it because it's been like a 3-year thing. And here it is, finally here. He's got our last name. He's getting a new social security number, new birth certificate with our names on it. So, in the eyes of the government, that's our kid.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I remember, this is just random, but birth certificates always make me think of this. I don't remember what I had to do, but my mom had to send my birth certificate off for something one time when I was like 14 or 15. And they sent it back, said it was fake.
What?
The government sent it back, said it was fake.
What?
My mom's like, I got this from the government. Like, why are they saying it's fake?
What?
I was like, am I not real? Is there something I need to know?
You weren't born, dude.
Am I an off the books,
You're a pod
baby?
people.
I know when I brought this up to Nefarious and told him that he was getting like a new social security number and everything, he's basically like, so you're committing murder.
You are killing the old Kyle.
We basically, killed. I mean, he's exactly the same, but we, in the eyes of the government, we just killed it. We just killed him.
Better.
And
We
created another one.
We can make him better.
Yeah. $1 Million Baby. Oh, wait, that's a different movie.
Hey, that was a pretty good one, man.
So, other than that, you guys told me to play House Flipper. I completely did a 180 and played No Man's Sky for a week and a half.
That you did, and I played that with you, my good sir.
You did. We got in the Discord, played it a couple times, and I learned how to play that game through trial by fire because I really wanted the Normandy expansion or not expansion, but I really wanted like the Normandy content.
So, yeah, for just explanation for listeners who might not know, on N7 Day, which is the Mass Effect Day or whatever, which I believe is November 7th. I think that would make sense. N7. They released a thing that they had done, I believe, last year with No Man's Sky, which is where you, on the expeditions, you get these little frigates that you can send out for your freighter. And the mission that it is for this specific expedition was go out and do a few different, well, I think 4 phases worth of missions, and the 5th phase is, well, no, there are 5 phases. And you end up getting the N7 ship from Mass Effect in your game as a frigate. So I ran through and did that. The first one
from like the original Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Whereas you did it in like a couple of days, it took me a straight up week and a half. And most of it was me pestering you and Jeff about what the heck I need to do to play this game.
And Jeff has since admitted that he, on I think Dane and Jeff's media dump, that he was sitting there laying next to his sleeping wife, not able to just yell at us because we were not doing what we were needing to do. And he was like, God damn it, you just need to do this. That's all you need to do. And he was typing it in chat and we were half reading it. And yeah, it was a good time.
It was a good time. But he was legit like, I want to scream at you so hard right now.
I can just picture Jeff just sitting there, just getting seething mad, just watching us play.
Face turning beet red.
I always feel like that's an issue when you watch people play crafting games. Because you're like, oh, I would do this, but it's not you playing, so you're not going to say anything, but they drive you crazy because they're like, I'm going to put this here. And you're like, why would you put that there? That does not look good at all. But whatever.
But not just that, it's like, that's another game with like, everybody has a completely different experience.
Yeah, everybody in the world, typically.
Yeah. So, I played that game, and actually, my opinion on that game has completely changed. One of my biggest sticking points with that game, and why I didn't really like it, was the fact that there was really no sign of actual, like, planetary civilization. But the more I played it, the more I realized, well, yes, there is, but those civilizations have died out, and you're actually hunting for the remains of said civilization, because I've found, like, ancient remains all over the place. 2, it seems like the remaining species are just kind of scattered throughout space, doing the same thing you're doing, trying to survive. And 3, the actual civilization is created by the community. Because all of the bases that you are going to come across are going to be player created, except for like some like little small settlements that you might find on a planet.
I was going to say, there are like actual settlements that you can find these days that are, you know, like a little town almost you can run up on, and you can become the mayor and upgrade it where more people move there and things like that. Like there are things that you can do that is content that you wouldn't have seen in that expedition. But if you start the actual game, there's so much more that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
And you're asking about like the civilizations that used to be there and stuff. All I can say is you should play the main story. It's good. It does sniff its own farts in a way, and you'll see what I mean. But at the same time, it's a great ride.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I've got a whole new respect for it now. To the point where I will more than likely, when I have the time, dive into it further. But I'm kind of glad that I started with the expedition, because it kind of forced me to play the game, if that makes sense.
It actually have a goal and something to work for instead of just messing around on a planet and being...
Exactly, and I think that lack of focus is what kind of turned me away from it. But now, especially after playing House Flipper, which we're going to talk about in a bit, I'm getting that bug to, like, want to build things again.
That's cool.
Again, I want to tell you then, you should play through the main story, because update, since you've, you know, played way back in the day, when you fix your first ship and shit, when you fly up into space, you're going to get a star communicator message that's going to start the first mission, and you will have things to do throughout it, because the mission is going to make you build a base. It's going to make you go and find people to work in your base. It's going to make you expand your base, all that type of stuff, power it up. It's going to make you do a lot that you'll learn for building things that you can then take that and go build a fucking base if you want to. You saw the tower that I built. You watched me jump off the tower that I built. Willie, you weren't there. Mm-hmm. I found this planet where the tips of the mountain range, if I got up there and was standing and would fly up with my jetpack, I would fly out of the atmosphere. That's how tall these mountains were, right? So I built a tower. I built the tower up until I was literally, it wouldn't let me build anymore because I was in space. And I jumped off of it.
He counted.
I had unlimited jetpack, but like I flew out forward a bit until I was over the crater next to the mountain that I was next to, and I just free falled. 86 seconds. I was like, oh, this is so fucking high up. This is like that dude in real life who went up and dove at the atmosphere and dove into the world, which is just mind-boggling.
That was so cool.
So, and what was bullshit though is I landed like 10 feet away from the water where I was trying to land, so I ended up landing a little bit on mountain, so I could have gotten maybe to 90 seconds had I fallen where I wanted to, but
get good.
But still, over a minute and a half of falling was...
That is crazy.
Or no, not quite a minute and a half, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. It was a long time.
I don't think that's what the Red Hot Chili Peppers meant when they were riding higher ground.
It's definitely what Creed meant when they were riding higher.
Mm.
Can you take me higher?
Consequently, higher ground was what was playing at the beginning of the Power Rangers movie when the kids were like jumping off the plane. I also don't think that's the purpose of the song, to skydive.
Probably not. Speaking of Creed real quick, these little videos that I've been seeing where it's like the flower that's taped to the porch during the storm and it's blowing around and they put the little face on it. It's like, hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm thinking. Dude, they crack me up every time. Like the last one I saw was a grasshopper that was like near the windshield. Holding on, that song was playing. It cracks me up, man. God, he keeps talking to me about No Man's Sky and I'm like, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me, because I will fall back into that game and I will play that game like an MMO for a while.
It was like when you guys were playing it, I felt like I was almost lucky that I kept missing it, because I was like, I kind of want to play it. If I do, we're not going back.
Yeah, especially now, like they have this thing where I guess you can like buy ships and then go to the space station and deconstruct them and take their parts and then build new ships with it. And I'm like, fuck, man, you give me ship creation now.
Yeah, because when we were playing, the ships were a lot more randomized.
Yeah, and
like you just basically had to get lucky as to their appearance.
I keep seeing this one ship now that's like, there's a Star Wars ship, and I'm really bad with names, but it's the one that's kind of flat and round that flies around.
Does it fly around the town?
It flies all around the town like Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Flat and round and flies around.
Yeah, it's like it's not like super flat, but it's like a flatter design. It's a circular.
Are you thinking of like...
You're talking about like the Millennium Falcon?
It might be the Millennium Falcon. Like I said, I'm bad with the ship names itself. But yeah, it kind of... These ships in No Man's Sky that I keep seeing look like that, but they're not quite the same. And I'm like, dude, I want one of those. And I have not been able to find one. It's always been other players that have it in the Nexus area or whatever it is. The
Anomaly?
The Anomaly, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm finding ships that are like very similar to the X-Wing fighters... And I can't find those anywhere there. It's really hard to build your own ship in that game.
Yeah, that's what me and Willie were just talking about, how they've added that, and I really want to dive into it. I just haven't.
Really get customized.
So what you have to do, and this is kind of what I learned, and, don't judge me, listeners, but I've been using Wiimote a little bit just to, like, try out some of the game's mechanics.
Yes.
I know. I'm being judged by Willie.
And praised by Dalton.
So, and it's actually kind of cool because I use this handheld called the iNeo Flip DS. So it's actually a 2-screen clamshell Windows handheld. It's like a big, beefy 3DS, but it's a Windows thing. And so I would have No Man's Sky on the top screen and Wiimote on the bottom screen. And I would just turn the cheats on and off with the touch screen as I needed them. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up just giving myself a whole bunch of credits so that I could just buy ships. And I would just buy the ships and dismantle them, and I started to get parts, but I never seemed to got enough to put it all together, and I just kind of gave up, and eventually I found a ship that I really liked that it was kind of airplane-like, because it just had wings on the side, and it just looked like a fighter ship, which is what I really wanted. And so I named it the Retrogue, and I just kind of went with that, and just went on with my life.
Hell yeah. Well, if you find a ship you like, you can also go to the one dude and upgrade, or the other thing, buy the shipbuilder and upgrade that ship. So if it's a C class, you can spend nanites and upgrade it to a B class, then an A class, then an S class, and you can buy cargo room and stuff. So.
That's ultimately what I ended up doing, is I brought it up to A class, and I just, gave myself units and upped the cargo space a little bit, and that was it. I was good to go after that.
Oh, well, hell yeah. Hell yeah there, Rubber Ducky. Well, boys, we did some flipping of houses in a game called House Flipper, And there is an obligatory Wikipedia bullshit section about House Flipper, and it goes, House Flipper is a simulation game developed by Empyrean and published by Frozen District and Playway for Mac OS, Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. It was initially released May 17th, 2018. A mobile version entitled House Flipper Home Design was released for Android and iOS in October of 2020, and a sequel, House Flipper 2, was released in December of 2023. Gameplay involved fixing up properties in order to create profit. And then it goes on from there, but that is basically the gist of it. So, Willie, this was your choice, my good sir. And since you have gone to pee, I'm going to say Mikahilov. I'm curious.
Oh, good. I'm back.
Oh, okay. So, Willie, sorry, I had the Wikipedia pulled up. I didn't see that you had went away. I'm curious, two things. One, what made you pick this? Two, give me your first impression.
So what made me pick this in the first place was I was really just in the weeds trying to figure out what I wanted to pick for this particular pick. And I was actually just kind of asking people for some ideas, like, what do I want to play? And Nate's like, why don't you do something like Power Wash Simulator? You seem to get a lot out of that. And for some reason, I thought we already did that for the show because we talked about it so much when we were playing it. But it ended up getting me in the right mindset. And I'm like, well, House Flipper's another low stakes, relaxing job game. So that's kind of what I picked. And my first impressions of it, I actually watched someone stream it to me, and it just seemed relaxing enough at the time that I was like, yeah, I'd love to play this myself and just, do some handyman construction work. Like, what I was watching didn't even really get up to the flipping part where you're buying your own new buildings and customizing it. I was just watching, like, cleaning out, messes left by previous tenants and things like that. And I thought that looked like a lot of fun.
All right. Well, Mikahilov, what about you, buddy? What was your first impression loading into House Flipper?
Oh, my first impression is being a house flipper in real life. When my folks passed away, we ended up getting their rental property, which we sold as soon as we could, but in order to sell it, we had to do so much extra work to it, and my first impressions were a bit of PTSD, because...
This ain't a game, this is real!
Yeah, well, because there is one point very early on in the game where you have to repair an electrical socket. And that just brought me back to a day a couple years ago where I had to learn how to repair an electrical socket on my own because we were not going to get rent money because that one electrical socket was not up to code. And fuck if I know how to change an electrical socket. My dad was a plumbing and heating guy. So I got PTSD from that too, installing the showers and the toilets, because I'm like, I've done this stuff before. Like, I've done this stuff and had it go horribly wrong. Like, why am I doing this in a game? And my second thought was, why the hell am I changing out an electrical socket without cutting the power?
Yeah, you're brave.
That's a good point.
And then, when I think it's not going to get any worse, I get introduced to painting. And
yeah,
my experience from painting is that you never have enough paint. And just like in real life, you gotta buy the paint. And what happens? You run out of paint. You have to buy more paint. Thankfully, at least in this game, you could just buy it from your tablet and it just automatically shows up. You don't have to get in your car soaking wet because you're sweating because it's hot out and the air conditioner never works in the house that you're working on. And you have to go down to Home Depot. You have to go back to the house because you forgot the lid with the color, and then go back to Home Depot, finally get the paint, wait for somebody to mix it for you, and then go back. And that was my first impressions about House Flipper.
I heard all that stuff was in House Flipper too.
Oh, we'll get to that. Man, yeah. Bringing back some memories for me. So in the game, I always solved that problem by buying the big can of paint no matter what. Even if I had to paint a small bathroom, I bought that big ass can of paint because once you're done with it, you can sell it back and get your money back for the stuff you didn't use.
Again, not like real life.
Like 75% of the money back.
I would love to just bring a half-opened paint can or paint jar or whatever and just be like, yeah, can I have my money back for this? I only used half of it. Can I have half my money back?
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
So my first impression of this game was like a couple years ago, or whenever it was, not long after it came out. I first checked it out. I got it on Steam and messed around with it some. The Garden DLC came out, and that was pretty fun. And then they just started releasing other DLC, and I kind of fallen off of it, so I had fallen behind on those. So I did get a version that had all the DLC and was playing through that, and I found it much more enjoyable this time around. At the same time, there are two things I noticed immediately about this game. One, painting was tedious. It gets better with skills when you do, because there's a level up system in this game.
But to be fair,
So-
painting is tedious in real life.
Yeah. It can be relaxing, but it can also be very, very tedious. The second thing I noticed about this game right off the bat, the very first door that I opened, it is the same sound effect as the one from AOL Instant Messenger when somebody used to come online.
Yes.
And that door, it is the same fucking exact same sound.
If it's not the same, it's so much so that it's so similar that it made me like think, oh, did someone just sign on? Oh, wait, AOL Instant Messenger hasn't existed for like a decade.
Yeah. It's just so wild.
Calm down there, Caffeine Commando.
That was my AOL Instant Messenger.
So, man, just the whole, okay, so basically just starting off in the game, your first assignment's to just go to this house and I think pick up some trash and fix a couple outlets. There's really not a lot to do, but they slowly feed you in more mechanics as you go on, to the point where you're painting, you're installing radiators, you're buying new appliances,
Demolishing and building walls.
yeah, which
Interior walls, I mean.
I swear the last time I played through, I remember there being more sections that required that. This time I only had like 2 or 3 missions that required me to knock down and build walls, and that was it. And that surprised me. I was like, man, I feel like in the OG game, like back before they started introducing DLC and things like that, there were more missions that required you to knock down and build and paint walls.
I had quite a few missions where I had to paint and knock down walls. I think I want to say at least 3 or 4.
So I don't know. Did you guys, did you learn the trick with the sledgehammer knocking down walls? There was an easy trick to get the walls to come down really quick.
I just always hit the corners and then just started bashing up the top and the bottom.
So I always would go through the line on the top and just hit the very top of all of them, crack it all the way down, and then I'd go to the corner at the bottom and just crack the bottom out, and the entire wall would fall.
Huh.
That makes sense, yeah.
Physics.
Then I would just keep hitting the bottoms, and it would just fall. It was tremendous. It was way quicker than the first time I did it, which was just hammering randomly.
Well,
I do enjoy the sound, though. That was oddly satisfying.
the sound the hammer makes is amazing. Like, just hearing a little, like, concrete-y sound of everything, all the bricks coming to the ground and hitting each other. The rain of stony sounds is amazing.
That said, it concerns me a little bit that no matter what you're walking on, it sounds like you're walking on stone. Like I'm walking on grass, but I'm walking on stone. It's that threw me off a little bit. I wonder if that was just a bug in the programming or something that they didn't account for with the DLC. Because in the base game, you're always inside.
But I can still go outside. It's just, all you could really do is pick weeds, I think.
I don't even think you could do that.
Like, you could go outside and, I thought you could, because you could, like, paint the exteriors, couldn't you?
I didn't try painting
you
exteriors.
You could paint exteriors.
Huh. I need to figure that out. Cause,
No, you buy some paint and you paint it.
oh.
Or you can buy wall panels, and that gives you, like, an exterior, like, if you want to do something that looks like vinyl siding.
I was going to say, like, I could do siding, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I just probably haven't gotten
Also-
to it yet.
While I'm thinking about it, shout out to this game for being able to turn off cockroaches.
Yes, thank you.
That is one of the best accessibility features I've ever seen in a game. It just replaces them with broken glass that you vacuum up instead of whatever you did against the cockroaches.
Now, something I would like to say about the vacuuming. I feel like they could have left that mechanic out because it
was
is
really
jank as shit.
Yeah, it was really finicky.
Like, vacuuming was not a fun time. Anytime.
No, I
do it.
didn't care
And-
for vacuuming either, but I'm glad at least they let you turn that off because I think we had this conversation like very early on after the last episode, where Willie, you had said
I think I recommended it on the episode just to turn that feature on.
like you had actually said, like, I play games to relax, I don't want to see cockroaches, and I immediately turned that crap off.
I mean, there's still a little part of me that goes, okay, but it's always showing up when there's like a bunch of food mess on the floor and stuff instead of anywhere it makes sense for broken glass to be. So I know what you really are, but I don't care.
Yeah, no. I mean, it could be anything. I like to pretend it's like beer bottle glass or something like that.
I guess that
Even
makes
though it doesn't
sense.
look
'cause a lot of them
anything
do have
like
bottles.
beer bottle glass, but it could be beer bottle glass. It could have been like a mirror. It could have been like just a regular drinking glass, pint glass. Like, I just,
Sure, broken glass happens all the time. It doesn't have to be like a window.
Exactly.
So-
A vase, whatever.
This game also had a mechanic in it that to me was my favorite mechanic, and at the same time, the most frustrating mechanic. And that was cleaning windows. I absolutely
kind of liked cleaning
love
windows.
cleaning windows. I love it because it's just, you're just taking it, and it's very satisfying.
You can do it like in Power Wash Simulator, where you kind of just go up and down real thoroughly, or you can go and just try to get it to like 95% clean, and you'll be good.
My issue was exactly that. You get to like where there's just like 2% left of what you need to clean, and it finishes the window for you. And it's like, good job. And I'm like, but there was a little bit left I needed to get. There was a little bit left I needed to get. And they don't let you get that. I even turned up the difficulty to where it was like everything, it doesn't highlight anything when you're putting stuff together. And it still would finish at like 98% done. And it drove me fucking nuts. I'm like, let me just finish 100% of the window, please. Please, let me just get all of it.
I think the only thing that difficulty slider changes is putting together like appliances that hook up to water. I think it just gives them more parts, basically.
Well,
I put that on hard though because I enjoyed like putting a bunch of screws and washers and all that in when I'm putting together like the radiators and the toilets and the sinks and all that.
Well, man, I was hoping that it would just fix that window because that's my biggest, I think that might be my biggest complaint with this game. Let me completely clean the window. That fucking little shitty game that we played for Halloween that was awesome.
Yeah.
Let you clean the whole window, and that was so satisfying.
It really was. It was strange how the window cleaning. Like, I kind of forgot I was playing a horror game from time to time because I was just, like, getting into the window cleaning vibe.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But, no. So, it gave me some things that you guys enjoyed about this game. I have a few in mind.
Well, I liked how it ramped up over time with the email missions until eventually you felt like, okay, I think I see what's going on here. I'm ready to get my first house and try to turn it around and get creative with it. And then when you do, you tend to not do that good of a job because there's a bunch of little things you didn't notice until they go on auction,
The actually selling of the house was so fucking frustrating because it's like, okay, so I had the first office. I turned it into a nice house with a nice bedroom. I think I even like managed to get a little second bedroom in there. Put some children's play stuff out in the yard. Really made it like a nice starter family house. Put it up on auction, and every fucking person bitched that there was kid stuff there, and they didn't want kid stuff. Like, the motherfucker, I'm not selling to you. You are not my demographic. Why are you trying to buy the house? I'm trying to sell to Karen and Steve and their newborn baby Tavin. Okay, like
Tavin.
I'm trying to. I don't know. Taven, Gavin.
Yeah, it's Navette spelled backwards.
Yeah. So it was so frustrating that I haven't flipped another house since then, but I do have a couple that I need to. I did move my office into the turtle house.
Nice.
Which we can touch on that.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really liked about the game is I discovered actually just last night and this morning that there are quite a few Easter egg houses you can flip. Like the house that I switched my office to, that I'm currently working on renovating for myself and no one else, is Walter White's house from Breaking Bad.
Oh, yes, Hamburberg.
And there's pizza on the roof. I don't remember that in the actual show, but I can't get the pizza off.
That's a famous scene.
I know, I forgot it.
I've never watched Breaking Bad, and I know what that scene looks like.
I was just telling my parents at dinner about this, and I was like, if I remember right in the show, it's like very early on, the dude slings a pizza, and it goes up on the roof, and it stays there the rest of the fucking show. It's like the pizza's just there.
Well, I can't get the pizza off the roof, but
good. What
I did find was the crawl space. And what was in the crawl space? A bunch of money, which you could actually sell.
Nice.
So I actually ended up turning a profit just by buying the house and making my office, because I sold the first office and then I sold the money. So by that, I ended up with, I maybe not breaking a profit, but I broke even. Like it was actually really cool. And so now I got a house of pizza on top of it.
Broke good.
And I broke good. Jesus H. That was good, Willie. I'm sorry.
Yes, bitch. That was great.
That was great. He stuck that in. Hey, Willie, say my name.
Yeah.
When no one is around you, say, baby, I love you.
Hamburberg?
Sure, why not? Yeah, it didn't say Heisenberg. It was Hamburberg. But then, like, it wasn't Kame House on the Dragon Ball house. It was Turtle House.
Well, yeah, I was about to get to that. Is that the turtle house that I got is Master Roshi's place out in the middle of the ocean. It is the island with the little house on there, and on the front it says Make House instead of Kame House. I haven't tried, but I wonder if you can rearrange the letters. Probably not, but I left the outside as is. I haven't fucked with that. I went inside and did some stuff, but I'm inside and I'm doing some stuff, and I see something faintly glowing in the cabinet. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I go over and I open the cabinet, and there's a fucking glowing Dragon Ball.
Oh no!
Nice.
With one of the symbols from your radial menu.
Oh.
So it was like the vacuum, right? So I picked it up, and then I started wandering around. There are 7 of them hidden around the map, and you collect them all, and then on the little coffee table, there's a holder for them. So you can put them all in there, and once you have all the Dragon Balls, you can then go to that and click it, and you can control whether it's morning or night. You can change the time.
Okay, that's really cool.
So I just thought that was a cool little Easter egg.
That is a cool Easter egg.
Yeah, some of the houses have their own weird little mechanics. Like there's a couple of haunted houses that have like haunting mechanics, like one called Room 404 that Dalton suggested I pick up. And I got in there, and yeah, there's like shoes on the ground that suddenly move and leave footprints behind and all that. There's like a spooky The Ring TV and all of that. And if you find a couple of little items in the house and interact with them in a certain way, it breaks the curse and everything kind of goes back to normal. The unsellable items become normal. It stops becoming permanently night outside.
Yeah, in the Breaking Bad house, like, first of all, when you go in this house, like, you could tell, like, it hasn't been lived in years. Like, it's just abandoned. Like, you have to replace, like, the entire kitchen set and everything like that. Like you can tell, like, people just got out of that house. But like I said, I found the money in the crawl space, and then I went into the master bathroom, and there was the book next to the toilet. That's where the brother-in-law found out that it was Walter White who was Heisenberg by how that book was signed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I thought that was a nice little touch. Was the little book. And doesn't somebody spray, like, it inside the house, it did say Hamburberg. I don't remember in Breaking Bad, but doesn't, like, Heisenberg get spray painted somewhere? Like, on that house?
Yeah.
Like, on the garage
I think
or
he gets
something?
spray painted in the house. And
Yeah.
that's someone letting Walter know that they know who he is. I don't remember what the context was, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's why you have to clean that graffiti off, because that happened in the show. So I don't know. Breaking Bad was a good show. I don't remember a lot of it because it's been so many years since I've seen it, but just the second I saw that house, I'm like, I have to get that house. And yeah, I'm living in it now. With my little dog Rex.
Every episode of that show except the last one. I've never seen the last episode.
Yeah, just keep that blissful ignorance.
I do have it pulled up here, all of the little Easter eggs that you can find. I thought that this would be a good time to bring them up since we're already talking about them. So, as we were saying, the Huckster's house, which is the house based on Breaking Bad. Mm-hmm. There is the Alone Home, right? Mm. And that is based on the house from Home Alone, obviously.
Yeah, I want to flip that one.
I haven't gone to that one yet, but I bet that one's fun.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, Samarta Meyer's house is one of the ones that you can buy. Now, that is a combination of things that it is hinting at in that one, and that is Scream, Halloween, and The Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
So then there's the one to flip, which is Joey and Chandler's apartment from Friends. And then there's the one to move in, which is the girl's apartment across the way. There is the Turtle House, which we talked about from Dragon Ball. Now, the other ones is Cyberpunk, the Cyberpunk DLC, which is free on Steam Store. You can go and download that. It comes with a Cyberpunk apartment, but it also comes with a house that you can buy called A Room for Enhancements. And that is Adam Jensen's apartment from Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool.
So I thought that was very interesting. This person that has these listed said the Apocalypse DLC had none that they could tell that were Easter eggs. Same for the Garden and HGTV flippers. The luxury one, the very first one that you get is the one that I'll tell you about, because the other ones are kind of here and there. But I'm on a boat. The person that asks you to do this is Jimmy Robinson, aka Jimmy Donaldson, aka Mr. Beast.
Mm.
So you have to go and clean his yacht. Another one that jumps out to me from that is Christian Grey.
Oh, wow.
You get a mission from Christopher Grey.
Christopher Grey, that's pretty good.
You get a mission from Tony Maloney.
Tony Maloney?
Which is
what is that supposed to be?
It's kind of like they kind of combine Tony Soprano and Tony Montana, where you're kind of dealing with a Sopranos and a Godfather type situation.
Gotcha.
And then 2-in-1 from Gerard Rich, otherwise known as Richard Gere from Pretty Woman. So you get to do his house from Pretty Woman. And then apparently the last one that you do is possibly Paris Hilton. They're not really sure. The Pets DLC, which I believe, Willie, you did some of.
I did literally the first mission. I got the I got it
Yeah,
all.
that's what I did
the
too.
first one is supposed to be Alice Finbar, which is possibly Alice in Wonderland, is what this says.
That
Okay, I mean, it makes sense why she
explains
has
the
rabbit
rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't catch that.
The next
No, me neither, actually.
The next person that you will get a mission from is someone named Morgan Williams, who is actually Morgan Freeman.
Mm.
And then the final mission of that DLC is also from Morgan Freeman. So I thought that was those are some interesting ones. There's a lot of other ones that are like unknown. They don't know who they're supposed to be. What jumped out to me as hilarious is the second mission in Luxury Flipper is for Hiroshi and Yuna Kimura. And it says, possibly Hiroshi Nakamura. I don't know who Hiroshi Nakamura is, but I can tell you when I used to play the UFC game back in the day on PS3, I made an Asian fighter. And in the names that I could choose, I ended up choosing Hiroshi Nakamura. And he went his entire career. Stand-up boxer, won all of his fights by knockout, never lost once, and I played on the hardest difficulty. Hiroshi Nakamura was a bad motherfucker. So in my headcanon, that's who it is. I don't care who the real Hiroshi Nakamura is. I'm fixing up the house for the dude that I helped get that house in the UFC, son of a bitch.
Nice.
Yeah. So we've talked about a lot of things that we like. We've hinted at a couple things we don't like. You know, there is a lot of good. There's also like, I don't know how much we can talk about this game because it's kind of just a job simulator in a way, but
Right.
there are things that we found kind of tedious. And I would also like to tell you a little bit about my experience with House Flipper 2. Let's start with some tedium. Willie, I know you said that you had a few things that kind of jumped out to you. So if you would like to lead us off.
One thing I really wish this game had would be some kind of like eyedropper type thing so you could identify either a wall paint, a floor or wall tile, or the exact like kind of wood you used for a certain item. Because like, for instance, if I started making a room with like maple furniture, I want to continue with maple. And if there's already like a piece there, I'm just going to have to sell it and start over because there's no way I can match it.
Have you delved into the luxury DLC at all?
No.
Okay.
I haven't started it at all.
In the luxury DLC, you kind of get choices because, okay, so in the DLC, it's kind of like, I don't know if they did this in the pet one, but you have more interaction with the people that you're actually working for.
Yeah.
Okay. In the luxury one, they're like, we have some ideas. So look at these cards and kind of see which one that you want to go with, and then we'll trust your judgment from there. So you end up having to choose like a color scheme. So say you want the floor to be a dark mahogany. Well, then it's going to rate you on all the things that you choose that are going to be fitting of that little card. It shows you like a room style, and it gives you 3 color choices that are like, this is what's going to fit this. And I don't know if that would be a little more helpful to your situation, but still does not solve the problem of an eyedropper would be very fucking helpful.
I mean, it doesn't help me with missions outside of the luxury one because that didn't seem to be exactly how it worked with the other ones. But yeah, like it really doesn't help with just the actual flipping of a house either. Like if I wanted to start, creatively changing a house around, I would like to have, the ability to unify things better. I also noticed that there is a little bit of bugginess to trying to paint or panel the top floor of the outside of houses in certain cases. Like if it's right under a roof, sometimes you can get there with a scaffold, and sometimes it just doesn't give you an option to panel that part at all.
Yeah, which has frustrated me a couple times.
And it seems like completely random because it'll be like almost the exact same height on the other side of the house, and it'll let you panel that one, but then it won't let you panel the front or something. So just weirdly frustrating on that. Let's see. I wish that there was a way to make it a little easier to, like, if you put a door in the wrong way, for instance, the only way to fix that is to sell the door and rebuy it and hope you remembered what your settings were on it.
Yeah. The fact that you can't just pick that up and swap it around kind of sucks.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that too, because that pissed me off to no end. Like, I'd have a door set up, and then I would realize that it's off by, like, a pixel. And, like, you could see the brick.
Yeah.
And, like, I tried to move it.
Worst.
Yeah, I tried to move it, and it's like, no, I can't move it. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll sell it and replace it. But then, like, I know it's a matter of, like, $10, but then you're losing that $10. And if you're doing a DLC mission, you actually have a budget in the DLC missions. And you can't go over budget. So, like, that could screw you up royally.
And even beyond that, just, like...
This is quality of life
if you
nonsense.
pick certain kinds of doors, there's a bunch of QL things the game could do. Also, like, if you... if you pick a certain kinds of doors, they have like separate panels and stuff, like some of the interior doors especially. And so you have to kind of remember what all the panels you did were if they weren't like all the exact same type of wood, for instance, because I don't think it remembers that. So if you sold
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. Even if you go into your recent purchases, you still have to pick your color scheme all over again. So yeah, you have to remember it. Otherwise, it just looks off.
One of the things that really kind of, I know we already kind of touched on the vacuum, so I don't need to bring that up. But there would be times, and it's again just goes back to the game being buggy, I think, and it's where I would place down the paint can, but it would be like too close to something. So I would try to fill my paint thing on it, and I just couldn't click on the paint can. I literally had to put it away, pull my hand out, move the paint can to another part of the room, and then I could access the paint from it.
Yeah, I had a similar issue sometimes when putting in outlets or putting together certain appliances, is sometimes the camera would just get caught somewhere where you couldn't actually see the next thing you needed to put in, and there's no way to move the camera when you're doing that. At least, I think if you plug in a controller, you could use the stick, but you can't do it on mouse and keyboard.
Dude, that got me every time when I was doing washing machines. Because I had to just click towards the top of the screen, and it would move up to that panel that I then had to move down.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the fuck? Why does this do this every time?
Yeah, there was a certain kind of washing machine that did that to me every time on the panel.
That's another thing that annoyed me, is that you have to, in order to move a washing machine or a sink, you have to move the plumbing too. So you have to like sell the toilet, but then you also have to sell the plumbing, and then you have to replace the plumbing, and then replace the toilet, and then you have to install the toilet. So like, I get what they were trying to do with that, but sometimes I just needed to move a toilet like one spot to the right. And
it also is a little strange that it's only finicky about bathroom appliances. Like, it doesn't require you to plug your oven in right next to a power outlet, for instance.
And even with the radiators, like, if you go to put a radiator near a radiator installation, it kind of moves the installation with the radiator. But it's the sink. It does. So why can't it do that with the toilets? But it's the sinks and the toilets and the showers. Like, that's very nitpicky. And I found myself having to just sell stuff and start over so many times just because I needed the plumbing in the right place. And it annoyed the fuck out of me.
Or when you tried to install a shower, sometimes it would just be the wrong-handedness, and you couldn't tell until you already bought it, basically, because the shadow outline of it doesn't really give you a good idea which way the door's
Correct,
open.
And I've dealt with that a couple of times, too, because there was one time I installed a shower, I had it all working as well as I could have, and then I went to open the door, and it opened into the toilet. I'm like, well, that's going to break.
Yeah.
So then I had a...
It's unsatisfying, even if it mechanically doesn't cause a problem. It's still... You're trying to make your like little dream houses and stuff. Like, part of it is getting creative and fantasizing about these being real places. And little things like that I feel are immersion breaking.
I agree completely.
I have an instance of that when I wanted to sell the first house. Now that I'm thinking about it, I did leave it a one-room place, but I put 2 beds in the one instead. I took away the desk and where all that was at and put another little bed over there, because I went into the door and then I went to the right and I knocked out a wall and was going to put another door there to then build a small room onto this house. And it told me that I could not build past this zone. So I couldn't add any wall on the outside. And I'm like, why not? Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I add a wall or add a room onto my house?
That first office
didn't make any sense to me.
Is glitched, by the way. If you try to replace the shower and the toilet and any of the stuff in the bathroom, you'll set it up all perfectly right and everything will be great and it'll be green on the minimap. You'll go to do a job. When you come back, it's all red and you hear water running. And there's never water on the floor or anything.
That's that issue, actually.
But the bathroom's just... It constantly shows as the bathroom doesn't have anything hooked up. And then you go out, you do another mission, you come back, you still hear water running. And it's not on the floor. You can't pinpoint where it is. It's just a weird glitch. It made me want to get rid of that first office like almost immediately.
I kind of got the feeling that the approach they had to a lot of these bugs too is we'll fix it in House Flipper 2.
Which, that's a great segue.
Yeah, I did check out some House Flipper 2 to see how it came along, right? It looks a lot better, right? You can tell that there were some engine upgrades. So some things that they added that could go either way, whether you think it's good or bad. I'll leave it up to your own interpretation. But so in House Flipper 1, when you look at a pile of trash, you point at it, you click on it, it goes away. You have removed it. In House Flipper 2, you have in your radial menu a trash bag, and you walk around with the trash bag and you pick up trash and your bag will fill up, and your dude will take it and throw it on the ground, and you pull out another bag and you pick up the trash. You then...
That's how it's handled in Gas Station Simulator, so I'm already kind of used to that mechanic.
So you then have to take the trash bags to the can, throw them in the can.
Yeah.
When you clean... Now, I've only done the first few missions of House Flipper 2. I plan on diving into it a little more to see if it fleshes out some more of the mechanics, but so far I've pretty much just done cleaning and picking up stuff. The cleaning, you don't get a mop. You get a rag, and it wipes around, and it's a little more, I'll say a little more in depth, but it's still basically the same thing as you're just wiping in the area and it goes away.
So it still feels like you're basically just rubbing on a decal until it just
yes. But it's a little more smooth than it is in 1.
I definitely had that issue with the mopping too. Like after you get rid of a few things, it's like it is not as satisfying as it could be.
Yeah, it's a bit more satisfying in 2 than it is in 1. Whereas 1, you just swipe, and the thing disappears. Like there are some stages to it wiping away at least. But yeah, it's more of the same, but everything's a bit better so far. There's a lot more interaction with the people who you are getting the jobs from. Like
that's good because that was definitely something I missed from Power Wash Simulator. Was like when you first took the job, you got this brief about it, and that's what you get in House Flipper. But then you don't get any more contact from that person unless you're playing the DLC map missions.
Yeah, so like I was doing one where I was there to unpack her stuff in her house. And when I got there and I start doing the unpacking, she hits me up and she's like, hey, could I also get you to pick up some of the trash around there? And I had already been doing that. So one of my choices was way ahead of you. And I clicked that and she was just like, you are the best. And it's voice acted.
Yeah.
So it was very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I could definitely go for that. That does.
And I noticed like I started to see the beginnings of that in like some of the DLCs for the first game because you went from a very basic cleanup simulator game to actual voice acting and somewhat story even.
Yeah, there's a lot more mechanics in the DLC that you access from the map.
Yeah.
There's the budget, like we mentioned. There's the pets, which you actually can adopt a pet and like interact with.
And then in the HGTV one, there's like these, and in the luxury one, there's like floating icons that you have to walk up and click, and they give you choices to make and things like that. Like
the pets one did that too.
You can tell that it's almost like the base game was their proof of concept, and they were like, okay, well, now that we know this works and people like it, we can actually add shit to it, and that's what the DLC felt like. And the House Flipper 2 kind of feels like what the first House Flipper wanted to be.
Yeah. Okay. And I noticed
it's worth checking out.
I noticed like some of the mechanics that you had to buy DLC for in House Flipper 1 are just already present in the base game of House Flipper 2. Like one of the things that really drove me crazy about the base game of 1 was that you could not do anything to the outside. But the outside looked like garbage. So
yeah, an overgrown lawn.
Yeah.
I want to say that they didn't they made that because they wanted to do the lawn stuff, but they hadn't implemented it into the game yet because they were still working out the back end stuff. So when they released it, I think if I remember right from the article I read, whenever I first picked this game up, is that like it was the intent on that was eventually going to be in the game, but they were working on it. It wasn't done at release time, so they just included it in the DLC.
Yeah, but then you're paying like an extra $15 or so, or you're waiting for a sale just to be able to work on the outside. Like I was just pissing and moaning for like days until I eventually like it was just yesterday the DLC pack went on sale for Black Friday, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna get it. It was like $30 for everything. I think the only one I missed was I didn't get was the pop art one, but whatever. And then like just being able to like take out the weed whacker and just cut the grass, I'm like, change the game for me. And so House Flipper 2, I think you could work on the outside right from the jump. Like there's no DLC for it.
I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I can imagine that, that's the way it's going to go. And also, in House Flipper 1, there are houses that I show up to do work, and I only need to do things inside, but their yard looks like absolute shit. I will mow the lawn anyway. For nothing.
I did that too.
Completely free.
Yep.
I'll take all their weeds out.
At first, I was like, I'm just doing it for gardening experience points. Then I maxed out gardening, and I'm like,
that's for some odd reason, and I hate doing the yard in real life. I have a tractor. I sit on the tractor, and I let the tractor do the work. But for some reason, mowing the lawn in this game, once you unlock the actual push mower, is just oddly therapeutic.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. I love the way it just eats weeds, like even more so than the weed eater.
I found myself mowing the yard in-game exactly the same way I do in real life. I was just going in a square. like just edging and just making my way toward the center of the property. And I'm like, this is how I fucking do the yard in real life. What am I doing with myself right now?
I
And
also
yet,
did it
seeing the grass get trimmed.
Yeah.
Looks good.
And even
It's
like
funny,
your
good.
character makes a comment like about how great the smell of freshly cut grass is.
There were times when I was doing, and we'll talk about my property preservation experience more because we got a question about it. But one of the things that we had to do when I was doing that job was cut lines in the yard. So I had to, on the 0-turn mower, cut straight, turn around, come back, and do it that way. So that way that there were even lines. People liked even lines in their yard because they could look out and they could see where I had cut. These people who were that particular were fucking weird the way they wanted their yards done, man. But it did look nice. But like in my own yard, I could give a fuck if there's lines in it, bro. Just make sure the grass is cut.
Yeah, that's all I care about. Thankfully, the tractor doesn't leave lines. It just cut lawn. That's it.
Oh yeah. Well, is there anything else we wanted to discuss with House Flipper? We can get the ratings, and I think we got quite a few questions this week. So
I feel pretty good about the coverage we got in the game.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about in the sense of why I'm giving it the rating I'm giving it.
Yeah.
all right then. Who wants to start off with ratings?
Why don't you go first, Dalton?
Yeah, I'll start off. So I quite enjoyed this game, but I've had my fair share of annoyance and tedium with it as well. It's not perfect. I know Dane's theory of no game is perfect, but like this is not near a perfect game to me, though I do thoroughly enjoy it. There are things that hold it back that I think could be better, and I'm interested that once I get a little further into House Flipper 2 to see if they've improved. I'm going to give this a solid 7.5 squeegees out of 10 vacuum cleaners.
I'll follow up because that's basically pretty much Raw Land 2 is. I think the core gameplay is pretty good. Occasionally does get kind of tedious, like you do want to take some breaks from it and not just play it all day every day. Especially some of the missions like later on in the emails, like Scrooge's missions in particular, seemed like they took a really long time if you did them carefully. To the point where I just started wanting to flip houses instead because I was getting bored.
Quickly, something I forgot to touch on. You're talking about if you were doing them, particularly, it got to the point where some of those missions where I needed to buy like 8 chairs and like 2 tables and stuff, and I would just fill a room with them. They were not in any sort of order or placed anywhere. I would just put them down so it counted because I'm like, I am ready to move on out of this.
Yeah,
fucking
I've
job.
done that too. Especially in the Apocalypse DLC, because you're like in a bunker with very little room, and it's just like, I'm just going to put stuff there.
Oh, you're just stacking pickles and stuff on.
Oh, God, there was...
My new band name, Stacking Pickles.
There was one mission where you legit had to do that. You had to buy non-perishable food, and you had to put it on the shelves, and it was so annoying.
It was very specific, too.
Yeah.
It'd be like 2 things of rice, 2 things of macaroni, 3 things of pickles, 1 thing of beans,
ugh.
2 jars of mystery
Like, I
meat,
get
big
what-
vat of
I get
soup.
what they were going for with that, but that was a
TV
terrible
evangelist
mission.
bucket food.
Yeah. Yes. There was yes, you did have to buy that. Sorry, Willie, continue.
Well, yeah, so, I mean, but again, I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. I do wish that there was a little bit more quality of life, a little bit more bug fix in it, but generally speaking, I enjoyed the game, and I think this is just 7 bathrooms out of 10 bedrooms. It's a big house.
So that just leaves you, old Mickey.
So, I'm glad I picked up the DLC for this game before we recorded, because I was fully prepared to just shit on the base game. And the base game by itself, with no DLC attached, is straight butt. Like, there is very little purpose to it. The email tasks, like you said, just get tedious and boring. Some of the mechanics aren't great. It's buggy as hell. And I was completely ready to write off this game, aside from the fact that I did kind of enjoy the therapeutic sense of just mindlessly doing these tasks. It did present to it a sense of calm. So I was going to give it points for that, but not necessarily for like the gameplay mechanics itself. And then I got the DLC, and the DLC completely changed the game for me because it made it personal. It opened up other things that I could edit in my own office or my own space. Like I was able to buy a house for myself. start working on that piecemeal, get into like the base building and the nitty gritty, which I actually really like about games. I love when there's house building and base buildings. I did it in Skyrim. I did it in Starfield. I'll eventually do it in Final Fantasy XIV if I ever get a house in that game. And then I got the puppy from the Pets DLC, and now I'm invested. So this is a game that I was expecting to put down and never pick up again. And just that one act of buying a DLC package when it was on sale has turned it from like straight butt to straight up
gay butt.
I hate you. I love you, but I hate you. So it actually turned it into a more fleshed out game that I actually want to enjoy playing when I have time to play a game. To the point where, like, in the last 2 days, I could have picked up anything. I could have picked up Final Fantasy XIV. I could have picked up No Man's Sky. I chose to play House Flipper. And so if I were to rate the base game as a whole, it would only be like a 3. But rating the entire package with the DLC brings it up to a good 6 garden hoses out of 10 molehills.
All right. I think we've all given fair responses. And that is House Flipper. So, you know, it's one of those, if you like job games, check it out. You might enjoy it. I would say go for House Flipper 2 at this point, though.
House Flipper.
Although this game does have a lot of sell going on right now.
I was just about to say that, yeah. Yeah, so it's like $30 for like all of it. It's not a bad deal. So don't play the base game by itself, even though it's only $2. Get the whole package. Or at least get like the garden DLC, or maybe garden and pets. And you'll probably be good with that if you were on a budget.
All right. So before we move on, there are some things that I need to mention because Steam loves us and the game is on sale. That has, you know, those correlate somehow. I don't know how they correlate, but I'm sure that they do correlate with the episode and the sale going on. Surely it's not just a coincidence. And also, Jack and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, needs to be mentioned on this show because they are bringing it to PlayStation Plus's premium lineup, right? With enhanced up-rendering, rewind, quick save, and more. And I need to bring it up on this show because I need the curse to kick in. Although what's the opposite of a curse?
A blessing.
I need the Steam Machine blessing to kick in. And that is I need that to come to PC. I need Jack and Daxter, the OG one. I've never played 2 and 3. I've heard they're completely different games, but that original Jack and Daxter game is one of the best 3D platformers of all time. And to have it come to PC would be sweet. And it was also asked of me to mention the first 3 Uncharted games because the only Uncharted that is available on PC right now is Uncharted 4 and then the little side story for that. So go ahead and give us all the Uncharted games. Why not?
I thought those were on Steam. Why not
give us all the
I thought I saw something on the Steam sale that showed the Uncharted games.
No, it's just it's the Uncharted collection, right? And it's Uncharted 4 and then the 4 spin-off or whatever.
Oh, that's not fun. I thought the Uncharted collection was 2, 3, and 4. Or 1, 2, and 3. No.
It is on PS3 or PS4 or whatever it is. On PC, it's just 4 and the...
I will forever attest that 2 was the best one.
I've only ever played the first one.
I didn't like the first one
but I had a lot of fun with it.
I was
just male Tomb Raider.
I was so bad at the first one that I just watched the Let's Play and went to the second.
Fair enough. But yeah, I just wanted to mention those. Also, there was one other thing. Oh, where was it? I think it was in Gaming News. I posted it as well. Yeah. Shuhei Yoshida is leaving Sony Interactive Entertainment January 15th, 2025. The PlayStation guy at Sony is leaving Sony.
Well, that
is just I think he's retiring. I'm not 100% sure. He might be going to do his own thing, but that's major.
Yeah. That is major. That's like Charles Martinet retiring as Mario or like Shigeru Miyamoto retiring, which he hasn't yet.
Yeah, or that one dude that got replaced by Bowser.
Oh yeah, Nintendo. Yeah.
Reggie Fils-Aimé?
Yeah, everybody loved Reggie.
And didn't and the Metal Gear guy leaving Metal Gear. That's Kojima. Yeah,
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, like that's another big blow.
So best of luck on your future endeavors, Mr. Yoshida. I appreciate you and all that you have done being a PlayStation boy growing up. So boys, we got some questions. We got quite a few of them. So we'll try to burn through these.
Oh boy.
This first one comes in from Kana. Pick a movie. Keep one actor. The rest are played by Muppets.
Oh fuck. I'm gonna go first. The Muppet Movie. I'm gonna keep Seth Rogen. The rest are Muppets.
Isn't that how that movie is already?
Exactly. Don't have to change a thing. Fuck you, Kana. I love you, Kana.
Rude. Rude.
Yeah, sorry, that was overboard. I love you, Kana. You're awesome. Keep being you.
I think it would be funny to do like RoboCop and keep RoboCop and then everyone else is a Muppet. I think that's one that they talked about on Dane and Jeff, or Dane and Jeff's Media Dump. I guess I should say the whole name of the show. Man, I think Harry Potter would be fun, but you keep Snape as a human, so he's just this miserable man surrounded by Muppets. Hello, Potter. Are you there, Mr. Snape? How are you? That'd be tremendous. But then it breaks down to like who. Hey, Mr. Snape, how are you doing today?
That's pretty awesome. I will never be able to unsee that now. I'm the Muppet who lived.
I'm Kermit D. Potter. Oh man, Miss Piggy is Hermione. Come on.
I was just gonna say that.
Ron.
Oh, kissy, kissy, Harry.
Make Ron Gonzo or something, and when he says Leviosa, she's just like and hits him. Yeah. Yes, we are writing it right now. It would be great.
No, Ron has to be Rizzo the rat, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he has the pet rat.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, it would be like, Rizzo, why do you have a pet rat? Don't ask questions.
No, I thought Rizzo was with Gonzo.
He's Gonzo's buddy.
Okay, so...
Yeah, I guess you could do it that way, too. Then.
In
Yeah,
Harry
that would
Potter,
work.
the rat actually is like a polymorphed like villain.
Oh, it's Peter Pettigrew.
Yeah, Peter Pettigrew. So the rat could be Peter Pettigrew, and Gonzo can be Ron.
That could work.
Okay, that makes sense.
That could work.
Who's Grover?
Figure out,
whoever he wants to be, gosh.
Fair.
Who's who?
Who's Grover?
Grover is from Sesame Street.
God damn it.
I think Big Bird should be...
I think, oh man.
I couldn't remember McGonagall's name on time. That's who I wanted.
It would, Big Bird is McGonagall.
Oh dear Lord.
Yeah, just to twist the knife on the Sesame Street.
Oh God, who would Elmo be? Voldemort.
Draco.
I'm coming for you, Harry.
Elmo thinks you should die now. Avada Kedavra.
Avada Kedavra.
We're
dude.
fucked.
Hagrid is Cookie Monster. Let's go.
Oh my
I know
God.
we're getting
yeah.
We're totally doing Sesame Street now instead, but
We're
come
fucked.
on.
We'll do a mashup. The Muppets meet Sesame Street in Harry Potter.
Jim Henson's Potter Puppet Pals.
Snape. Severus Snape. Dumbledore. Oh, that's a throwback.
My choice is Halloween. Michael Myers is still either Michael Myers or Dr. Loomis is the real person. I haven't decided which would be funnier.
I was thinking like Predator. Just keep Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I also thought about Predator.
Alien.
Everybody else is a Muppet.
Who would be real and Alien?
Sigourney Weaver. The
Okay,
Muppets,
wow.
the alien's
Yeah,
a Muppet. The xenomorph is a Muppet.
Okay, yeah.
The bald doctor.
Okay, the John Hurt chestburster scene would be pretty amazing, I think. Dude, it'd be the actual hand that usually is inside the Muppet just coming out. Okay, that was a good question. Thank you for that.
Was good. Up next, from Adam. What does your favorite Silent Hill game say about you?
Mine's PT. I haven't played a Silent Hill game.
I've never actually played a Silent Hill game. So let's just read these descriptions and we'll pick one. Silent Hill 1 refuses to listen to any band that came out past 2006.
Okay.
Silent Hill 2 cries a lot.
That's me.
Silent Hill 3 daddy issues / wanted to be the emo in high school.
I'm definitely a 1.
How do you be a wannabe emo?
Yeah, I'm definitely a 1. I like my old people music, which when I liked it was not old people music. It is now.
Silent Hill 4, the super hardcore gamer.
No, that is definitely not me.
Silent Hill, I gotta click on that because it's so small. Silent Hill Origins thinks The Room is the greatest film.
Don't even know what that is.
The Room is the greatest film. Trust me.
Silent Hill Homecoming likes cock and ball torture. Silent Hill Shattered Windows?
Memories.
Oh, Shattered Memories. Okay, wow, my eyesight's bad. Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Weeb. And finally, Silent Hill Downpour. Either genius or schizophrenic. I'm probably torn between Silent Hill 4 and Shattered Memories because I feel like I'm a super hardcore gaming weeb at times. But I also really like a lot of bands that came out before 2006.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely a Silent Hill 1 person if we're going by those descriptions.
All right. Next one comes in from Adam. You have just gotten a PlayStation 1,
Hooray.
right? You have a choice. You get to play one of these games. Are you ready, gentlemen? This one actually I'm going to take here and I'm going to copy this image and post it into the recording chat to make it a little easier on y'all. If it'll let me do that. Control V. There we go. First up, Twisted Metal 2, NHL 97, Crash Bandicoot, Destruction Derby 2, NFL Game Day 97, NBA Hang Time, Soviet Strike, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Madden 97, NHL Face Off 97, Andretti Racing 97, or Jet Moto.
Like half sports games. That's kind of crazy.
I have...
It's like 2 competing NFL games, 2 competing NHL games. Remember when that was still a thing? Right.
I was going to say, all of the ones that I would choose on this are not the sports games.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go off my own model and go with Soviet Strike. I actually never got into the Strike series, and I feel like that would be a fun one to pick up.
I had Nuclear Strike, which was the sequel to Soviet Strike.
I think that was the last one, yeah.
Dude, it was fun. Me and my dad got a lot of hours in that game. It was fun.
I think it was, Jungle Strike, then Urban Strike, then Soviet, then Nuclear?
I believe so. All right, Soviet Strike for Willie. What about you, Mikahilov?
Anything on this page?
Any of the games.
Yeah, you're not going to pick a memory card on us, are you?
How did you know that's what I was going for?
Because you're a crumb bum.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what game I pick. I need a memory card, or I'm not going to be able to save on any of them.
So pick a game you don't need to save.
Twisted Metal 2.
Mortal Kombat.
Twisted Metal 2, then.
It's a great game. I have a copy of it back here somewhere because a buddy of mine sent it to me. Thank you very, very, very much.
It is between Twisted Metal 2 and Mortal Kombat Trilogy, but I would probably go Twisted Metal 2.
So here's my thinking, right?
The only thing keeping me from picking Mortal Kombat Trilogy is honestly the fact that I remember the PlayStation Mortal Kombat games having some weird load time.
I owned a Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and it's still my favorite Mortal Kombat game. Now, I know Tadpog, Tyler and Dave play old games. Shout out to them. They shit all over the Nintendo 64 Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I can't speak for that version. Never played it. But the one I had on PS1...
They are somewhat different.
And it's actually... Mortal Kombat Trilogy is now available on GOG as well. You can pick it up. Now, my favorite part of Mortal Kombat Trilogy back in the day was playing through the campaign, or the tower, beating the tower, and then you could input a password at the end. And I would always input the password to play the cutscene that just went through everyone's finishers. So it went through all of the fatalities, then all the brutalities, then all the animalities, then all the friendships, the babalities, all of the different ones that they had. Well, you can just go watch that shit on YouTube now. So if I'm going to choose one of these, I'm going to go with the one that I objectively know that I'm going to have the most fun with because I owned it and I put a lot of time into it. And surprisingly, I'm not going Crash Bandicoot. I'm going Jet Moto.
Wow.
I'm glad one of us
Jet Moto 1 and 2, 2 of my favorite racing games of all time. I don't know about 3. I never really played much of 3, but Jet Moto 1 and 2 were fan-fucking-tastic. All right. Next question. This comes in from Fenris. Would you play a horror game based off of night terrors? Like you're a person going through the day, and when you go to sleep, you have to survive your dreams. There could be an added mechanic of choosing not to sleep, but with what consequences? Like psychosis? Hallucinations? Fenris thought that this would be a pretty fun game idea. Wanted our interest on it.
I feel like if you basically just took a little influence from Psychonauts here, you could make the perfect Nightmare on Elm Street game out of this formula.
The same thought I had. It's the exact same thought I had.
Really?
Yeah. No shit. I was like, okay, so it would be, you could maybe do it like a Psychonauts style thing, but maybe the killer could come at you only in your dreams. Oh, like Freddy Krueger. Yeah,
okay.
Freddy's could be really.
It feels like a pretty easy 1-2 punch once you get there, doesn't it?
Yeah, Friday the 13th would be really an interesting way to do that.
Friday the 13th, you idiot.
Yeah, I said Five Nights at Freddy's the first time. Yeah,
no, you said Friday the 13th. It's still not right.
Oh, fuck. Nightmare on Elm Street. God damn it.
There you go.
Thank you. Jesus. What about you, Mikahilov? Oh, you don't play horror games. So what the fuck?
Yeah. And night terrors are not something I mess around with because most of them, they involve my really, really deepest fear of dying. So let's not get into that.
Y'all ever had sleep paralysis?
Yeah, it sucks.
I've experienced it one time, and it was the most terrifying thing I've ever gone through.
The word nightmare originally referred only to like sleep paralysis type thing instead of just bad dreams.
Dude, it just when I woke up and I felt like I was awake, but I couldn't open my eyes. Nothing on my body moved, but I was conscious. It was the weirdest feeling. Hated it. Hate it.
It's bad.
I've never had that happen, but I have woken up like.
You ever had false awakenings?
I hate the false awakenings where you think you're awake but you're not. But no, I've had ones where I've woken up just like, cold sweat, like can't go back to sleep after that.
Oh yeah. I had one of
Yeah.
those within the last few months. I just woke up and just started playing, I think, Stardew Valley or something. Just woke up and just played something really chill.
That's what I would do too. I just
opposite of a
go
nightmare
out in
is
the living
Stardew
room, put a video game on until I could eventually fall asleep again. Because a lot of times I would just fall asleep playing the game.
Oh, that's nice. That feels like a very dad
Yeah, it
move, you know?
happens.
For a dad your age, like our parents and grandparents fell asleep watching golf on TV. These days, fall asleep playing Super Nintendo.
Oh, listen. Falling asleep in the middle of a Final Fantasy 14 dungeon with other players is not.
Oh no!
Hey, I've been there on 14 and WoW.
Yeah, it just
Like, I remember one time I straight up nodded off for like 5 minutes, and I woke up and they were like, "Are you all right? Do we need to kick him?" And I said, "Sorry, the wife was talking to me." And they were like, "Whoa, been there, all good, let's go." I was like,
good
"All right,
comeback.
cool." It's just like blame it on the wife, girlfriend, or
Yeah,
kid.
right?
No
Yeah.
one ever cares.
Oh,
They're always,
yeah.
like, it's always a bunch of dudes that are understanding.
Yeah.
There was one other thing that I was thinking about. Oh, what was it? Oh, Mikahilov, you've probably experienced this being a teacher, seeing it, right? When someone's sleeping and they feel like they fall and they jerk awake.
Yep.
I had that happen to me in class one time. So I used to sit, when I would read, I would sit looking down and I would tuck my hand under my chin like this.
Yeah.
And that's how I would sit. Well, I could also sleep like that. So I would be pretending like I was reading and I would just fall asleep. And one day I remember doing that and I jerked awake. My teacher just looks at me and goes, "Oh, Mr. Suitor, good morning. Did you have a nice nap?" Because he just saw me jerk out of his car. He knew immediately what it was. I was just like, "Sorry, my bad."
So,
Oh, man.
I'm a horrible, horrible teacher. Whenever a kid falls asleep in my class, I don't wake them up. I just fuck with them. So,
Put shaving cream in their hand.
no.
Tickle
I
the forehead.
I take a sticky note. I write a bunch of Z's on it, and I put it on their head. And so when they wake up, they're like, "What? What the?" Or if I'm feeling extra punchy, I'll just pull up the army trumpet on my iPad, walk over, put it right up to their ear, press play.
Terrible. Let him sleep.
Dude, one time I did that and I startled the kid so far awake he knocked the iPad out of my hand and sent it flying across the room. It's a good thing it was in a case.
I had a teacher that when you'd fall asleep, she would throw a rubber chicken at you.
Doesn't hurt, but
And
Was your teacher Svengoolie?
no, she was a bitch is what she was. I would have much rather have been Svengoolie. I hated that lady. So she did that to me one time. I sat in the very back of the class, right? So she winged it and popped me right in the fucking face with it. And I remember the next day, I pretended to be asleep, leaning against the back wall, super obvious. Had my, you know how you can close your eyes where they look shut, but you can still see
yeah.
through your eyelashes? I was doing that. She picked up that chicken, threw it at me, and I caught it and winged it back at her. Guess who got a referral?
Oh, come on, man. You didn't start it.
If that happened to me,
Well, hear me out.
I would have just
I went
given
to the
props
principal.
to the guy.
I went to the principal's office, Mr. Chappell at the time. He's not there anymore. He read that referral and tears of laughter he had because he had never had a kid get written up for throwing a rubber chicken at a teacher. And he just made me go sit outside he goes, "Just sit outside my office the rest of the class." It was like 20 minutes. So I just sat out there. He was a cool dude. The guy that replaced him was a mega dick. Oh my God.
Of course.
I remember his name was Shoe Chuck. So we all called him Shoe Fuck, of course. And
Clever.
I remember I went into his office one time because I had gotten into I broke up a fight and one of the kids punched me, and so I punched him back, and that was just how it went. And I got called in the office, and he's like, "All right, let's pull up your record, Mr. Suitor. 7th grade, suspended for fighting. 8th grade, suspended for fighting. 8th grade again. Oh, you're a real winner, aren't you? Suspended for fighting." Like just dressing me down, and I'm like, I wanted to be like, "You know, this is a military school, right?" I didn't say anything. I ended up just dropping out and getting my GED a year before I was supposed to graduate. So yeah. And in Florida, it's not a GED. It's a Florida high school diploma.
Oh, even better.
So, yeah. So what did I do with it? Absolutely nothing, but I have it.
Yeah, but you know what? I shouldn't say this, but it's slightly easier to get a job with your high school diploma than it is not.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's 100% easier to get a job if you at least have a high school diploma. A lot of places require you to at least have a high school diploma.
Yeah. So like,
or an equivalent.
Yeah. So like a lot of kids that drop out around here, like they're just fucked.
I used to tell kids, and I still do to this day, but I mean, even when I was in school, I'd be like, "Dude, if you're going to drop out, just go to a trade school. Go at least learn a skill." That's what I should have done. I thought I was going to go to college and do stuff though, but then like I went to college and my dad started having some serious medical issues. So I spent a lot of time not in class. So I failed a bunch. And the way Florida works, I don't know how other states work like this, but I've failed a math class twice. So now to take it again, I have to pay out-of-state fees or cost to take it again. So to take a class that was costing me like $150, I now have to pay like $1,500 to take again. So I just said, well, I guess college is done.
Yeah, the education system is so broken in this country. I don't even want to get into it in this show, but like, yeah. It's a mess.
And it's only going to get worse. But moving on, we have another picture question. This one comes in from Kana. What side are you on when it comes to wizards? Now we're talking red and blue here. Democrat, Republican. We're going against one another. We're getting into it. What side are you on?
Hood.
Do you like hoods or pointy hats?
I like hoods. I'm an Obi-Wan.
Okay, so here's the thing. The pointy hat is like an incredible signifier of magic user, right? Like, especially if you have all the little planets and stuff on it, I think that gets you really good wizard juice and all that. The thing is, I feel like most of the witch stereotypes are like, oh, they have green skin and ugly noses and warts and all that. They basically have the same hat, and it's like the only positive thing witches get. So I'm saying we give the pointed hat to the witches. Let the hood be there for your kind of undercover sorcerer.
I can get behind that.
Hooding up.
I can get behind that. But my argument is Merlin.
See, that is a problem. Merlin is awesome.
Merlin is awesome.
That's basically what I mean when I think of like wizard with stars and planets all over his hat.
Yeah. I figured. That's why I was like, but Merlin, man. But Merlin.
You do have to deal with the prior art. The prior art is important.
Oh man, this is a hard one for me because I like.
Can we compromise with just a big old sleepy cap, like a little triangular sleepy cap with a poof on the end of it?
I'd be okay with that.
I think all these wizards need a nice nap.
I do.
Maybe I'm just sneaky.
I mean, I also, when I play RPGs, I usually hide the hat, so
my thing in RPGs is if I'm a magic caster, I'm usually wearing some sort of hat. If I'm a rogue or a fighter of some sort that needs to conceal, I feel like in character need to conceal his identity some, I will throw him in a hood. But like my Oblivion playthrough right now, it's modded. So one of the first guys I met he owns a modded store that's in the Imperial City. And he's got a sparkly, glittery silver beard and a big pointy fucking hat and the robes. And one of the things you can buy from him is the big fucking pointy hat and the robes. And that's the first thing I bought in the game.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm outnumbered.
I'm
I'm
going pointy hat.
It is. Pointy hat is more wizardy, but on the other hand, like, I feel like you can get into more events with the robe unless you're trying to show off.
Yeah, dude,
it's complicated.
I feel like you show up, you're wearing a pointy hat, you're a wizard. You show up, you're wearing a hood, you're a sorcerer. Or a warlock, or anything but a wizard.
I kind of feel we're gonna get into this argument of like Obi-Wan or Gandalf.
I feel like Obi-Wan's more like feels like a modern space wizard.
But he's still a wizard. Like he uses
another
magic.
Band name, modern space wizard.
But if we're allowing Obi-Wan to be a wizard, though, then the scariest wizard in that movie is a guy with a black skull for a head. That's even scarier than a hood.
Fair.
This is true.
But then.
So the actual answer is terrifying skull mask. We should have been there from the start.
Hold on a minute. Who is the scary skull mask guy's boss, and what is he wearing?
Just an old wrinkled bastard that nobody likes. He didn't even really become his boss until like the second movie.
But here's the thing: you're talking about Star Wars.
Power does not derive from the hood.
They are Jedi and Sith. They are not sorcerers and mages and
they're basically space wizards,
Close
dude.
enough, dude.
Like the powerful ones are space wizards, the normal ones are space knights.
Space paladins.
That's all I was going to say, space pally. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going pointy hat. Team pointy hat.
Team Retrogue.
So the next
Team Skull.
Team Grayskull. The next question comes in from Jeff. Red pill, blue pill.
Another one?
Do you take the red pill? Full Ocarina of Time remake in the Breath of the Wild engine, but Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker are deleted from existence. Or do you take the blue pill? A full Majora's Mask remake in the Breath of the Wild engine, but the Zelda movie stars John Cena as Link. This is the easiest thing in the world for me.
Because I actually would like to see the John Cena Zelda movie.
100%.
Like,
I was going to say.
You're adding in that universe, you're subtracting in the other one.
That's not really a negative. You're still getting your Zelda movie.
Yeah.
Dude, John Cena as Link. I would rather see that than The Rock as Link.
Excuse me, princess, you don't see me.
That's how John Cena sounds.
I don't know how John Cena sounds. I just ad-libbed that whole thing.
I know, it's just, you just did some sounds, and you were doing a voice, but it wasn't based on anything. It was kind of awesome.
So I love that I think it's a unanimous blue pill
Yeah.
We don't even care about the remakes. We're like, no, we just want to see John Cena.
Yeah,
in that movie.
pretty much. No,
Yes.
we don't
Don't
see
be
John
deleting Wind
Cena.
Waker and yeah.
Dude, I saw a meme
Oh, man.
today. It was like on Instagram or something. It was like a short where it was like, this is the best tattoo ever. And it basically was John Cena, like a picture of John Cena. And then they go to wipe the like stuff off the whatever it was that they were using to clean or cover the tattoo. They go to wipe it off and there's nothing there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Classic.
I did post an AI photo that Dane made of Link John Cena.
That's kind of funny. You know what? It doesn't look
And
that
then here's
bad.
our next question comes in from Jeff. Who was the biggest 80s film douche? Ace in Stand By Me. Biff from Back to the Future. Chet in Weird Science. Steph in Pretty in Pink. Stan in The Revenge of the Nerds, which cracks me up because that's friggin' Jefferson from Married with Children.
It is.
Walter Peck in Ghostbusters. Johnny in The Karate Kid. Or Vernon, get the horns, in The Breakfast Club.
God, they're all dicks.
They are. I feel like to me, the ultimate 80s dick is definitely Biff.
Biff, yeah.
Just because he has the absolute like meathead, but he really couldn't back it up today anyway type thing going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my mind eventually or immediately jumped to Biff and Stan.
I was between Biff and Johnny from Karate Kid, but I think Johnny can back it up a little bit.
I am between Biff and Vernon.
Vernon was
But what?
Vernon was a dick in that movie.
But why isn't the principal from Ferris Bueller in this list?
I don't know. I will say the dude that played Vernon and the guy that plays Steph are both really good actors at being hateable. Because
Yeah.
that dude who plays Steph, I recognize his face. I've seen him in a lot of shit, and I always hate him.
Mm.
I've never seen Weird Science, so I don't know.
Yeah, I never
about
saw
Chet,
Weird
but-
Science either. I
and s-
think we're all just kind of leaning towards Biff.
Yeah, I think the answer is Biff. Now,
Yeah.
my question to you guys is that guy Ace, Stand By Me, that's the same dude from Lost Boys, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Huh.
Isn't that the same actor as one of the main guys in Lost Boys? I'm pretty sure.
I haven't seen Stand By
I
Me.
saw
it's
Stand By
the
Me
panel
forever
looks like
it
ago,
Lost
but
Boys still.
I don't remember.
All right. Next question from Adam. What is the most interesting / thing you love most about a game that you own? For Adam's example, a cool special edition or a piece of merchandise that came with a game or a piece of content specific to your version. He has a copy of
Oh, okay,
Spider-Man
so like-
2000 for the PC, which, because it was released before the movie, still has the scene where the Green Goblin attempts to blow up the World Trade Center,
Oh, wow.
which was ultimately cut from the movie because it happened later.
Yeah.
Huh.
So mine right away. Well, other than we've talked about on the Ease 8 episode, that my Ease 8 came with collectible cards and things like that.
He's pulling it out.
My answer is Shroud of the Avatar.
Oh, yeah, that has like the cloth map and shit in it, right?
This was made by Richard Garriott. This is an MMO that you can download for free on Steam, but I have 2 copies of it physical. One I ordered and one that listener Santos sent to me. The reason that this is so cool is because Richard Garriott doesn't fuck around when he does physical editions. So I've got an Ankh,
Oh, nice.
which is a relic in the game. There is a language in the game that is written in runes and stuff like that, and this is the thing to decipher it on.
Oh, wow. That's pretty sick.
Right? It's got an adventurer's manual. I have a book over here that is a prequel to the actual game itself. It's the installer and the soundtrack, and there's some more stuff in here. But as Willie said, and the thing that I saved for last, because it is definitely the coolest in my opinion, is this. This is a cloth map of the world. Now,
Cool.
these are so fucking cool to me because if you'll see right up here, you can kind of see it out of camera. I have a map between these two things. That's the map of Skyrim. It's paper and it's ripped in like 2 or 3 different places. This, you'd have to work real fucking hard to rip this, which is why I like it so much. So I
Probably
am
more
a huge...
expensive to manufacture that too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it is. But it's kind of like you do that for the quality for your consumer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that ultimately
that's
ends
how I
up
feel about it.
factoring into the price of the collector's edition, but yeah, you still is
Let's
pretty
put it
cool
this
to
way. If
have.
it added an extra $6, $7, $10 for a cloth map, I'd pay it.
Yeah. And I think anybody who has that would do the same.
So anytime there's a computer, that's why I like old physical editions of games. Like I'd really like to get some of the old Ultima games that are complete because they have cloth maps and stuff. I just think that's really cool.
Yeah. Makes for good decorations too. Sorry if my mic quality is dipping. I'm looking around trying to answer this question.
No, you're fine. What about you, Willie? Well, he's looking.
I'm just checking the name of something.
Oh, no rush.
Give guess I can pick two things that are fairly recent.
Okay, yeah. When I got my Wii U, it actually came with the 30th edition 8-bit Mario amiibo. It was like in the style of the character from the original game, like a sprite. It's a pretty cool one.
Well, that's what's up.
That is really cool. I'm going to go modern. I haven't opened this yet, but one thing that's really cool about this physical edition of Balatro is it comes with physical Joker cards in the box.
That's neat.
Which, I don't know. I love this game. It's about as satisfying to me as House Flipper has become. And the other is the special edition of East 10 Nordics, and I also haven't opened. Here's I don't even know what's in here. I think there's like books and stuff in here. But
it's a thick boy.
It's a thick boy.
It came with a sling bag.
Oh, that's cool.
What? That's awesome.
I mean, it's kind of tiny, but damn if
still.
it isn't badass. And this came with a replica. Let me see if I can. I did open this. This came with a replica of the original NES cart in
the Nintendo World Championship. Sorry, you didn't say what it was. You just pulled it out for us.
This is Nintendo World Champions. So this is a really freaking... Now, it's not a real cartridge. It's a replica, so there's like no game card in here.
Okay.
I imagine, though, you can open this up. You have to be able to... You can open this up. It's an actual NES game cart. Like, you can unscrew this.
Very shiny.
I imagine you can put a game card in here. So if I could go on like AliExpress and get like just a blank motherboard and like rip the ROM onto this and make this a functional game, dude, how badass would that be?
That would be cool. I appreciate that it came in a Nintendo sleeve. I still have some of those.
And look at if you look at the back, it's actually got like a bunch of the logos, like the Mario Mushroom, the Zelda Sword.
Oh yeah,
it's got an energy tank from Metroid. It's got a turn up from Mario 2. It's like the Super Leaf from Mario 3. It's like just a really the eggplant from Kid Icarus. This is just a really cool little piece. Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know.
It's super shiny too. Like I remember, like that's how shiny I remember it felt like when you first saw the Zelda cartridge for the Nintendo back in the day.
It's actually not nearly. This isn't nearly as shiny.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, no,
you pulled a real gold Zelda cartridge out in comparison.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, I just happen to have that on the wall here. I got a little Zelda shrine. I can't really move the camera to show you, but
Water shrine.
Well, no, I've got the original copy of my original childhood copy of Zelda. I have like a Master Sword and an Ocarina, but then I also have like Nintendo Power 50, which was Zelda Link's Awakening. So sorry, yeah. I didn't mean to flaunt my physical things, but
all good, man.
I mean, that's what the question was.
Our next question is: out of these films, what's your favorite movie from Tom Hanks? We got Big, Forrest Gump, The Green Mile, Saving Private Ryan, Toy Story, Castaway, Catch Me If You Can, or Road to Perdition.
I'm really basic. I just like.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Toy Story.
Catch Me If You Can is really cool too, though.
I would say mine's a toss-up tie between Forrest Gump and Toy Story, but just to make it a clean sweep, I'm also gonna go Toy Story because it's a great fucking movie.
Yeah. We're doing a lot more agreeing this episode, apparently.
I know you were ready for us to fight about the wizard hat thing, and we were all like, "No, yeah, pretty much."
Yeah, it turns out wizards are awesome no matter what they wear.
Good old wizards.
So this next question comes in from Adam, and I get what he was going for, but we're gonna have to skip like half this question, right? Because it's current game, which is House Flipper. Next game, which I will touch on in a bit. The best game I played this year, we will talk about on the Steamy Awards, which leaves. What is our most anticipated game? And I know immediately what mine is.
Currently to come out or for the show?
How about we answer one each?
Most anticipated game?
Answer both. Yeah, so an anticipated game to come out, an anticipated game that you're hoping to play for the show.
I can't answer the one that I'm hoping to play for the show because it is my pick, and I don't want to spoil anything.
Picking it, yeah.
Okay. So what's your most anticipated game to come out?
That's a problem because I'm kind of trying to enjoy my current games or like go back into old games. I'm not really looking forward to anything, which is weird to say. Like even the Pokemon game that's supposed to be coming out next year, I'm not really looking forward to that because it's going to be another Legends game. So
Legends game was better than the mainline game, though.
It was, but it's supposed to take place in one city. And so that's why I don't know that I'm a fan of it already, but we'll see. But I haven't like pre-ordered or anything. I'm like just not like when it comes out, I'll play it, but I'm not like chomping at the bit waiting for information on it. I'm just doing my thing.
I can tell you mine, and maybe it'll tease your brain a little bit. My most anticipated game for the show is probably Oblivion. Like I can't wait for us to play that because that's one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite game of all time. My most anticipated game to come out by far is Light No Fire.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that's a good pick.
The new game from Hello Games. Like just the stuff that they have backported from Light No Fire into No Man's Sky, like the water physics and stuff, has been a game changer as far as looks go. I can't wait. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
That is gonna be good.
So,
it'll be nice to have No Man's Sky on one planet and just have it be fantasy based.
One big fucking planet.
But have it be fantasy based. And I'm hoping that they like take what they learned from No Man's Sky and actually do put in more civilization, like more bigger cities or at least like bigger settlements, because they'll be able to.
I think they'll be able to do that because it's more focused on the one planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think like instead of like having to worry about populating all these planets with like little pieces of life, they could populate one planet with more life. Like it doesn't even need to be procedurally generated. Like it could just be like this city is here, and then in between could be all the procedurally generated stuff. But we'll see what they do.
Yeah, like Daggerfall.
Pretty much.
So, Willie, what about you, bud?
I'd say I don't know what mine is for the show. I think as far as games that I'm looking forward to coming out, just because I haven't played the previous game in a little bit and I kind of fell off for a while, but I think the group will probably get back together and get back into it as soon as it comes out, is Monster Hunter Wilds.
You know...
Okay, yeah.
I don't know why I'm not looking forward to that as much as I should be. I haven't looked up any information on it. And usually I'm big on the Monster Hunter games.
Oh, it seems like the good stuff missed a generation this time, so this will be the good one.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I guess for the show, I don't know, man. I'm still looking forward to doing more Doom games. We haven't got around to Doom Eternal yet, for instance.
Doom 64.
Yeah, that's it. Doom 64 also, yeah.
So
all right then. We just got a couple of questions.
Oh, I think I have one.
Oh, go.
And it's coming out in early 2025. I don't have much longer to wait. I have it pre-ordered, and I forgot that I had it pre-ordered. What's it called again? Jeez. Ys Memoir, Ultim Felghana.
Oh, yeah. The Ultim Felghana.
Because I'm really looking forward to playing Ultim Felghana, but I don't want to go back and play the already published one because I know this one's coming out. And I really, really want to play that game because it brings me back to Super Nintendo games with Ys 3, which is the same story.
All right, so next question comes in from Adam, and I think this one's for me, but if you guys have some, feel free to share. Tell us some cool, creepy, and funny property preservation stories. I have
this is all.
I have three that jump out to me. Two of them I'm sure I've told before, but I'll tell them again. One was this house that was just down this really long back road up in the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere. You go in, and there are stains all over the carpet, and I'm like, what the fuck happened here? And Wes is like, oh, the guy who lived here was like some sort of drug runner and got into a shootout with the cops, and he got shot in here and bled out. So it was just blood stains that had orange blood stains all over the carpet everywhere. And I was just like, alrighty then. That house also had a really fucking rickety spiral steel staircase that was not big enough for my wide ass, so I didn't go upstairs.
It's weird how we didn't run into that in House Flipper.
It was I think that would be more like that game that came out, Crime Scene Cleanup or Crime Scene Cleaner.
Oh, Viscera Detail or something like that?
This is a different game that came out that
really?
You are a mob cleanup guy. Like you go in after a murder's happened, you clean it up, make it look like nothing ever happened.
That's interesting.
And apparently there's more story to that game. I delved into it a little bit, but it gave me the willies. It was just weird.
Interesting.
So the other two stories, one, we went into a house and we're walking around doing a perimeter check because the first thing we always did is we went to each corner of the house and we took a picture facing left, facing the house, and then facing right. And we did that for each of the corners. We're walking by the house and Wes just holds his hand out and stops me. He's like, you smell that? I'm like, smells like, he goes, body odor. Somebody's in this house. All right. So we go in, because we were literally instructed. We went into these houses and took pictures of everything inside, made sure, that we accounted for all the stuff. And we go in, and I'm walking behind Wes, and I am full of anxiety because I'm like, this could be somebody who's on drugs, just like chilling up in here that we have to now deal with. And we're walking around, and Wes just shines his flashlight into this room, and he goes, "Sup, dude?" And this guy starts talking to Wes. Now, I didn't hear it because I was kind of standing back what they were talking about. And Wes comes out, he goes, "We're all good." And when we walked outside, he tells me, apparently the dude, that was his and his mom's house. His mom died. He didn't have the money to hold on to the house, so the bank foreclosed it, but he ain't got nowhere to go. So he's been still staying in there, laying on a couch. So Wes told him, we're just here for the bank to take pictures and stuff. You don't fuck with us. We're not going to fuck with you. We're not the cops. We're not going to call the cops on you. I have to take pictures in this room. Cover yourself with the blanket and pillows so they don't know you're here. That's what we did. Is that legal? Fuck no. But that's what we did, like, to help that dude out. Yeah, and it was like, no, dude, we're not gonna fuck this dude up just because we have to come here for the bank. Fuck the bank. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't technically work for the bank. We worked for somebody who sent us jobs for the bank. The other one was we were fixing up this house for the Darlas or something like that was their name. I don't remember. It was an old couple here in Keystone, an older couple. It was a black lady and a white guy. And when I tell you that I have never seen a relationship dynamic where the woman wore the pants more, holy shit. It was anything that woman said, yes, dear. Yes, dear. And he was just this meek little old guy, probably painted for a living. Like, that's just like artist paint. That's what he reminded me of. Like, very meek and artistic and wants to make everything beautiful and fun. He wanted... So that one of the things we had to put into this, because they were making a side house. Okay, so a few things we had to do. They wanted big windows, but you know what is expensive? Big windows. You know what's slightly less expensive? The stationary part of glass doors. So they bought like 4 stationary parts of glass doors and asked us to put those in as the standing windows. We made it work, but windows have this thing on there to help you put them in called brackets that help hold it into place. You know what a sliding glass door doesn't fucking have? Brackets to hold it into place. So we had to drill into the steel and hope that we didn't hit glass and it just spidered the entire thing. We managed to do it. Took us days. They also had us put in a composting toilet. Now, if you don't know what that is, ladies and gentlemen, that is a toilet that you shit in, that it then stores that shit, and you can then turn it into fertilizer of some sort that you can use. These are the type of people that they were. And when we were discussing, so we had to hook up a thing that when you peed into it, it would go out this drain that would run out into the yard. The guy wanted to get some sort of dish so that it could collect the urine that could be then used to do something else, and his wife put a kibosh on that immediately.
Ew.
It was the strangest job we ever did. So I bring all this up because we were having to redo some lighting in there. So they had one of those like an outside room light that had the cover with the 2 fluorescent bulbs in it with the steel thing up against the roof. So I had to take that down to put up this new fixture that we had on. Well, I got everything off and it's just the wires hanging there between it. All that's left is for me to pull it over the wires. And I said, Wes, is the power off? Yeah, the power to that side of the house should be fine. All right. And I yanked down on that thing, and when that steel hit those wires, it zapped me harder than I had ever been shocked in my entire life and sent off a whoom flash of light. And I dropped that thing, and Wes went, "Oh shit, I guess it's not." And I'm just standing there, my arms are shaking, and I'm like, "Oh, you motherfucker." So I sat down for a while and let him do some work because I was like, "You motherfucker." That could have gone a lot worse. It's kind of like the stories I told in the Patreon section. You should go pay $1 and listen to those, because I almost died twice doing stuff like that.
Yes, he did. But he's still with us, and he's still sexy.
Thank you. But yeah, that was...
Oh, that actual electricity just helped.
That was the wildest job I had ever done. We did a lot of weird fucking jobs, but that particular job, and that was one we were doing on the side. The dude had seen him at a gas station and was like, "Hey, do you do work?" And Wes was like, "Yeah, I do work. What would you need?" Because that's what he always did. He always tried to pick up work on the side because we made more money off that.
So,
but we ended up, I think we ended up not finishing that job. I think maybe we finally finished it, or he went and finished a few things and told them that he wasn't going to do it because they just kept adding on shit to do. And we eventually told them, "No, we can't do anymore. We hire someone." Because I took down, so it was an outside garage that we were turning into a thing. So I had a garage door. I took that garage door by myself.
Jesus.
Because Wes was on the phone fighting with his wife.
Jesus Christ, dude.
So that was a thing where I took out that last screw and fucking just ran and just let that thing boom and hit the ground.
So My dad got contracted one time to do this massive heating job for what was going to eventually become a group home. And we're talking several floors, different bathrooms, complete total renovation. From beginning to end, this job was just a shit show. And so we go in, and it's the middle of summer. We go into the basement. Basement was not sealed off properly. So not only was the basement not sealed off properly, but some genius told the sheetrock people to drop the sheetrock in the basement. So not only did they drop the sheetrock in the basement, they started putting sheetrock up in the basement before my dad had an opportunity to put the ductwork in. So it was a hot summer day. It had rained the day before. We show up in shorts. It's cold, like borderline freezing down there. It is that damp. The sheetrock covered in mold.
I was gonna say that sheetrock's ruined, bro.
Not only is that sheetrock ruined, but my dad now has to cut through the sheetrock that they already put in the ceiling so that he can install the ductwork. I'm not thinking anything of it. We're just working. As we're working, the plumbing guy who didn't finish connecting the plumbing to the plumbing, like from the bathtubs to the water heaters in the basement, just has these pipes hanging down from the ceiling in the basement. Well, the general workers on the 5th floor are peeing in the bathtubs. They're peeing in the bathtubs. That piece coming down into the basement to the open piping, which is now getting soaked into the insulation, which we have to pull down to put the ductwork in. I had never smelled anything so disgusting in my life. I'm pretty sure this was the job that made me decide I did not want to do the family business at all whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah, I don't blame you.
And so we finished the job for the day. And my dad, we did a lot of work that week. Like we had ran like all the copper tubing, like from the AC units to outside. And like we had done like pretty much most of the job like within a week because we just wanted out of there. We wanted to get paid. We wanted out of there. Thankfully, my dad knew enough to ask for 50% up front, and he used that to buy the materials. And come to find out, a couple of different things. One, the job was running out of money fast. And so that plumber that didn't finish the job in the basement that ended up with the pee in the insulation, he didn't get paid at all and had already bought and installed stuff. And so he's out money for the job, which he never came back. On top of that, remember when I said they didn't seal the basement properly? Well, during that weekend, after we had installed stuff, someone came in, cut down all the copper tubing, and went and sold it to a junkyard somewhere.
Jeez.
And so they said to my dad, like, they paid my dad for the work that he had done, and they're like, can you reinstall this? And he's like, no. And he walked out of the job, he returned everything he bought that he didn't install, and took that as his payment.
I don't blame him. Not that's it. I've been in those types of situations where it's just like, no, we just need to get stuff.
Yeah,
it ain't getting better.
And because I wore shorts that day, I had a rash all up and down my legs that to this day my family calls it the mold monster.
Oh, man. All right. Well, boys, we got 3 questions left. All right. And one of them's quick. Adam, does the carpet match the drapes in your house?
Next question.
No.
Hardwood.
This one comes in from Nate. What would be your ideal DLC for House Flipper?
I would love them to lean into the horror and add more horror houses. That would be super for me.
I'd like to
do like the Texas Chainsaw House.
I'd like to see them do what Power Watch Simulator did and have you flip actual like licensed houses. Like I would love to flip
Harvey's Dream Home,
or like Aerith's house from FF7 or I don't know,
SpongeBob's
Pineapple.
You can literally flip Patrick's house on a hinge.
I can't think of other iconic houses, but those are the ones like maybe like the Jersey Shore house or like the Big Brother house, like stuff like that.
Amityville
What's
Horror.
that?
Amityville Horror.
Yeah, sure, why not? The cabin
Addams
from Evil
Family
Dead.
House.
If we're gonna go the horror route,
that's a fun
I do
one.
think that Willie is onto something where like you have to go in and cleanse the house and then clean it up and sell it would be cool. A cool concept for a game. I would like to see them up the scale, right? So like say you had to go into a zoo and you had to clean up and make the zoo look nice, and then turn around and try to sell that. So you'd be able to like look at the animals and stuff as you're going around, but you're having to like clean up trash, fix broken things around the, things like that. I think that would be fun. Or like an airport.
What about a dead mall or a closed mall?
Yeah, a closed mall would be fun. You have to go in and renovate, and it would take a long time to do these big areas, but that would kind of be the point. You know what I mean? The DLC is this.
But then
thing.
like you could also like in part of like renovating the mall, you got to like try to contract people to come and build stores there. So, like, you clean up the area, and then you don't have to build the store. You try to get a company to come in and rent from you, and then they put the store front in, and then you get money from that because they're paying you rent, and then you use that to renovate the rest of the mall.
Or you could even do it, like, where people bid on the, like fake, quote-unquote, companies, or it would be, like, like Whack Arnold's.
Yeah. Shoe Locker.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that would be bidding for the different spaces. And then they would be like, they win, and they'd be like, okay, well, before we come in, we're going to need you to install this, and
okay,
this.
yeah.
So, like, maybe you go in and put in a gas range and stuff, and then they come in and they're like, and then that's a thriving place. They open up, they start selling things.
Or you get like your
acre
acre stores. Like, you have to get, like, a Sears or a Macy's or a JCPenney.
It's starting to sound like a full game, honestly.
Mall flipper.
Yeah, maybe we should all get really good at designing, and we should make this game. And then we can do Mall Flipper Undead Nightmare, and it'll be like that not Dead Space, not Dead Island.
Dawn of the Dead.
Not Dawn of the Dead either. I'm thinking of the video game.
Dead Rising.
Oh, I would love to flip Sean's house from Shaun of the Dead. Have to go back into that shed where his friend he had his friend living. See, I've watched some horror movies.
The final question we have, gentlemen, and then I will reveal what our next game is going to be and our guests that we are going to have, and then we can get on out of here and I can let Willie go to sleep.
Yeah, sorry, I've been kind of nodding off, but
quite all right.
I've been there.
This one comes in from Jeff. You are flipping a house and you find a wall safe hidden away. What method are you going to use to get that safe open?
Call a locksmith.
Yeah, I would say call a pro is definitely where I'm at.
Yeah,
too.
I think I would also do that. I might try to like crowbar it at first just to see if it's a shoddy made safe. Depends on how heavy it is, because there's been the things where it's like, this safe's in this house. If you can get this safe out of the house without using any machines or anything, it's yours. But this safe weighs 10,000 pounds. Good luck.
Yeah, but if it's a wall mounted safe, I would want to preserve that. So, because it would probably up the property value. So I definitely would want to get it opened in a way where it could be used again.
I'm going to call up my safe cracker buddy. Have him come put a stethoscope on it and twist the knob a few times and it just pops open like the movies.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, boys, when I was going to choose the game that I wanted to play, I was thinking about old RPGs, old games. I wanted to pick something off of GOG because, I don't know, GOG's been doing a lot of good stuff lately, so I wanted to give them a shout. Our poll that's going on right now is all GOG games. And I was thinking to myself, what would I want to play? And then one game in particular jumped out at me. And I immediately thought of a good buddy of ours. Two good buddies of ours. One was I was chatting with Dane about this game. And he's like, oh man, I might have to slide in on that one. It's like, you are more than welcome to. But before that, I had been talking with a buddy of mine about Diablo and World of Warcraft. I said, hey, Dave, how would you like to come talk about some Diablo with us?
Dude, I get to meet...
And he was like,
I get to meet Dave? I get to meet that Dave? I get to hang out with that Dave? That Dave?
This is the exact fangirling I knew was going to happen, really. I told you.
Yeah.
So, he did request that we record a day earlier, which is totally fine. So what we are going to do is over the next week and a few days, me, Mikahilov, Willie, Dane from Dane and Jeff's Media Dump, and Dave from Tyler and Tadpog, and Ian Play Old Games are going to play and talk all about the original Diablo and its expansion Hellfire if we get that far. I know Dane said he was going to try Hellfire because he's never actually gotten to play that. So that should be a good time, man. Dave's a good dude. Dane's a good dude. We're all good dudes. I think it's going to be a good dude.
I'm just excited to talk to Dave.
I knew you would be. Sir. That's why I kept it a secret until the episode.
I don't even care about...
I wanted your genuine
I didn't even
reaction.
care about the game. I just want to talk to Dave. Hi, Dave.
So, yeah, that's coming up. Going old school Blizzard back before that they had this tainted reputation that they have now. So, other than that, man, Willie, before I get into the house cleaning, do you have anything you'd like to plug, my good sir?
No.
Mikahilov, go ahead and plug your stuff, my good sir.
Team Retrogue. Find me on YouTube. You can find me on the Steam Machine podcast. I think that's all I got.
All right, then. Yes. Okay, so if you would do us a major favor and go leave us a 5-star review over on iTunes and a positive review on Spotify. It would really help us out in the algorithm, help more people find the show. I am terrible at self-promotion, so word of mouth is major for us. So share us with your friends, tell your grandma about us. I think she'd really like us. If anything, she'd be like, that boy's got a really nice voice. I like listening to him talk. If you want to join the Discord, I don't even plug our social medias anymore, although I am going to make a Blue Sky. I am going to do that because Adam has that thing set up. So I will do that at some point tonight or tomorrow or whenever. But that will be done. So that'll come soon. But Discord, where all the good stuff happens, bit.ly/TSMP Discord. Come join, come chat with us, and vote on the fan polls for the games that you want us to play. Link to the website, bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast, kept up to date by Dane. Thank you very much, sir. Patreon, which is very helpful to me at the moment because I am out of work. Patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. $1 a month gets you the episodes early, and you get the general banter in the beginning that we do that is just for the Patreon section. I would say it's also ad-free, but apparently Spotify has once again taken away ads for us. So, if you donate $10 or more a month, you can get your name read on each and every episode like these wonderful people. Nate Sir Cogsworth, the 7th of June-iper, Jeff, the original Expendable, Mr. Syllables, Old Jeffy Lube, Ariesoradam, shout out to his podcast, Revival and Extinction, Team Retrogue, go check him out over on YouTube, Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself, Chad the Mad Lad, no goddamn seeing his last name, Shaffer, Flyin, Brian, Doran, Gray, the RPG, Wolverine, Logan, Joreid, and a newcomer that I am including. I don't know if they'll stick around for this tier, but I'm including because they donated $20 for the Steamy's Best Friends, which means after my pick, Diablo, and after Mikihilov's next pick, we will be playing The Outer Wilds. And that was requested by one Biltzy the Dragon. So thank you very, very much.
Hear from you?
It is very much appreciated.
Looking forward to that. That's a strange
That is a game that I have always heard great things about, and I know absolutely nothing
Yeah.
about it other than everyone's like, go
Same.
in blind. You have to go in blind. So I'm going in blind.
So I
there we
also
go.
have to point out that Biltzy is the first person to call in a $20 Patreon pick since me.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Yeah, it's pretty uncommon.
It's been a long time. I think the last person that chucked $20 at us for us to play something might have been Jeff.
Yeah, I was going to say Jeff for Free Space.
Yeah, I think that was it. And yeah, so all of that to say, check out Yazpod's backlog. Check out the JRPG report. Go buy a shirt, tsmpproductions.threadless.com. My music's over at nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com. That's about it. We love you all. We're very thankful for you. We hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and that you're full of food. If you're in other parts of the world, I still hope that you had a lovely Thursday. And boys, is there anything else that you'd like to touch on before we get out of here?
I'm gonna
click on the devil.
download a game and go to hell.
All right, I was going to say, well, then I will see you boys in hell.